Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work.
Welcome to the Dan Patrick Show, hosted by Dan Patrick and joined by the four Danettes.
Unnecessarily confrontational. That's just the best phrase I can use.
Each a critical component to the success of the show.
Todd wasn't doing anything.
And the slow, steady breakdown of Todd Fritz.
I've got like documented emails and texts and responses that are like, where did that come from? All I'm saying is, how about so-and-so for Thursday? And then it becomes, what?
Bringing you the best guests from athletes and entertainers.
What happened to Ice Cube? He was supposed to join us today.
To doctors.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases.
Maybe we should consider a therapist.
How I'm communicated with is very different.
And now, broadcasting from the excuse me. Todd, could you grab me some water?
You have got to be kidding.
This is Dan Patrick.
We made it to a Friday. I had my doubts. I took the under, but we made it to a Traeger Meat Friday. Come on in and stay a while. Hopefully we play nice today. Boys are here ready to go. Mark Cuban will join us a little bit later on. And Paul Finebaum from ESPN will join us coming up as well. We have a poll question. We got a stat of the day. We got a play of the day. We got a lot of things to bring your way. You can watch if you'd like on youtube.com/The Dan Patrick Show. You can also check us out on radio, 362 radio affiliates around the country. And we say good morning to Chat Row. If you'd like to email, you can. You can tweet or dial us up, 877-3DP-SHOW. Time has been a funny thing during this pandemic. I think we've all forgotten what day it is at one point or another, but time does march on. And it's marching on quickly for professional sports leagues. Major League Baseball's chance to be the first major North American sport back is rapidly dwindling. The reality of the NBA and NHL playoff plans, they will be here before you know it. And we're going to be talking about that Orlando bubble. And don't forget about the NFL training camp. It's 5 weeks away, and that means we're going to have potential battles, injuries, QB controversies, all the things that we spend an inordinate amount of time arguing about. But we all miss our favorite sports, but the conversation changes as we get close to them actually starting up. The excitement feels a little bit more palpable. The potential risk feel more real. So get ready, because this isn't just about my sports coming back. Is it coming back? How long will it be back? What if something goes wrong? We're waiting for our teams, but you're hoping that other shoe doesn't drop when it comes to this coronavirus. This program brought to you by Raycon, buyraycon.com/Patrick. They're the best wireless earbuds out there. You get 15% off. It's buyraycon.com/Patrick. We'll have a play of the day coming up. McLovin, we got a poll question as well and a stat of the day.
Yeah, we're really digging into this NFL poll question I mentioned earlier about Jamal Adams and the position of safety and where that sits among the NFL hierarchy.
I am not going to talk baseball today. At least I'm going to try not to, because I don't want to be brought back into the mess here, into the void. It feels like these are fake negotiations. The Baseball Players Association officially offered a proposal, and some seem reasonable, but it's just back and forth. This is a game of negotiations. It's like tennis. Just volleying back and forth with different data, stats, games, money, all of that. And I'm not going to get sucked back into this. It feels like, as I told you yesterday, the owners and the commissioner know exactly what they're doing. It's how can we play enough games and we avoid losing the most amount of money? And you technically have a season. That's really what I believe this is coming down to. And it's disappointing. But this is a sliding scale, and I know that we want to go back and forth, and we could be on the verge, and we're not. I fell for it. Like everybody else, I fell for it. And then I had somebody kind of wake me up and say, this is scripted here. I said, enlighten me. And my source did. Because if we're looking at the money, following the money, that's all this was about. First, it was about Blake Snell talking about the pandemic and is it worth risking my life to go back and play? Because it was about health. And when you had health on your side, then you had sentiment. You had fans to go, oh, okay, I understand that. We expected to have baseball fans. And then when we didn't, then all of a sudden the owners are going, well, wait a minute here. I know we agreed to this, but we're not going to have any fans here. So then it's different. Now, here we are, middle of June, and it doesn't feel like we're any closer than we were a week ago, a month ago. But if I feel like there's something that's real, then I'll bring it to your attention. And we'll have guests that can help us move the story on down the road. But this is just back and forth, and it just feels like no matter what the players say, the owners know exactly what they're doing. You may not like it, may not be good for the game, but it feels like the owners know exactly what they're doing. This commissioner knows exactly what he's doing. We're going to play X number of games. We're going to start on this date, which means we're going to have the postseason. Hopefully, we don't have a second wave of the coronavirus. We get our money in the postseason, more teams in the postseason, and then we kind of go quietly into the night and then try to regroup and maybe have a baseball season next year. That's my feeling here. That's what I've been told. It's scripted of when it's starting, when it's ending, how much money we're going to lose. Because if I say to an owner, here I am 3 minutes into this and I wasn't talking baseball today. Damn you. If I say to an owner, hey, you're going to lose $500,000 per game. Let's just say rough estimate. Oh, they want to play 70 games. Well, the owners are going to go, why do I want to play 20 more games and lose that amount of money when let's do 50 games and then I can recoup some money in the postseason? The players are saying, we don't get anything in the postseason. How about you give us more regular season games? That's where we are. We can go back and forth on percentages and universal DH and all. It doesn't mean anything. This comes down to how much money am I getting? How much money am I not going to lose? Those are the two sides. Good luck with that. This was one of those, we have so many other stories that are more important right now, but this one was kind of a sneaky big story, and it won't get a lot of attention. The Niners wide receiver, Deebo Samuel, broke his foot. Just had surgery. I mean, he's a really good player. He was sneaky good last year. That was just one of those where you go, all right, is he going to be healthy in time? Camp is opening up in 5 weeks. Yeah, McLevin?
Good thing they mysteriously picked a wide receiver at 25 and Brandon Ayuk, who even though they had Deebo Samuel, and they have Emmanuel Sanders still, I believe. So
Emmanuel Sanders went to New Orleans.
He left?
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
That's a mistake.
Yeah.
Now they're in trouble.
Well, no, he didn't just leave. No, wasn't breaking news.
Oh,
no.
back to you.
No. But yeah, Deebo Samuel, that's a big loss for that team. And you see this with these teams. When you lose the Super Bowl, it just feels like that offseason, and then you start the next season. Like, it's never pretty. That's why we had that run where teams didn't get back to the playoffs, let alone go back to the Super Bowl there. But Deebo Samuel breaks his foot. The Jets safety Jamal Adams wants out of New York. He gave a list of the teams that he wants to go to. And, there's a couple thoughts that I have with this. First of all, safety used to be a really important position. You have guys in the Hall of Fame who played primarily the safety position. Ed Reed was a brilliant safety. Ronnie Lott was a brilliant safety. You had guys who could put a hat on you, but they're not cover guys. They were the guys that sort of freelanced a little bit. What do you need me to do? But hitting has been taken out of the game. So that's safety, who's that big hammer back there. And look, Jamal Adams has done everything the Jets have wanted him to do. He wants a new contract. And this is where we devalue the safety. We do. It's one of the least valuable positions in the NFL. But the Jets drafted a guy to play safety. You can't now come back and go, you know what? You're just not worth that much money because, hey, you're a safety. he outperformed his contract. Christian McCaffrey outperformed his contract. Jamal Adams gone to the Pro Bowl, I think, 2 out of the first 3 years of his career. You're seeing guys going into their 4th year who were first-round draft picks, and they've gotten new contracts here. Patrick Mahomes has earned that. Deshaun Watson has earned that. Jamal Adams has earned it, but the Jets aren't going to pay him. And you draft a guy to play safety, and then he's good at the position, and then you say, yeah, but we're not going to give you a new deal. Then why did you draft him? Yeah, McLovin.
That was like 4 regimes ago for the Jets. Literally, I think that was 3 GMs ago. They have a new GM every year. There's no plan here. That's the problem.
Okay, so you're going to get rid of your best player.
Yes.
When is that ever a good idea?
Patriots done it before. They would he'd be gone. He'd be so out the door in New England. This wouldn't even be a discussion.
Yeah, but when did they get rid of Ty Law? He wasn't 24.
You're right. Good point. But the new contract forces this whole situation. It seems weird that 3 years in, he's demanding this money. I understand they get a bad deal.
But he's good at what he does. Imagine if you're Jamal Adams. You get drafted, first-round pick, high pick,
yep,
and you can't negotiate. You're slotted. And you look at these other players who have outperformed their contracts. They're getting extensions, and you're the best player on a bad team. He's by far and away the best player on that team. And now, so what are you going to say to other players that you're going to draft, might want to draft, or free agents? It's not a good look for the Jets. You may not want to pay Jamal Adams because he's a safety, but this is the guy you drafted to play that position, and he's played the position well. And here are the Jets going, all right, then maybe we'll trade you. Yeah, McLovin.
But if you're building a team from scratch, which basically they are, do you want your best player to be an unhappy superstar who's demanded a trade like 14 times during the pandemic? I mean, we've been doing this Jamal Adams story since February.
McLovin, how many times have they been rebuilding this team?
I know. That's the problem.
So what does the new rebuild look like?
Joe Douglas is a new GM. He builds it from ground up like he did with, help with the Eagles and the Ravens.
What does that mean, ground up?
I mean, literally, like he has no solid positions where he inherited. Remember, he inherited a mess. So all 22 players he could basically start over.
Well, I guess we're going to find out if you trade him and you can get a first-round draft pick in return for him. I don't know if you get a first-round draft pick for him. I hope you don't draft another safety. But what position are you going to draft on the Jets? A team that needs everything. Yeah, Todd.
But if an owner is in a position where he feels like he has to pay someone more money because they outperformed or overperformed their contract, shouldn't it work both ways? If someone underperformed, the owner should be able to say, and you're going to get less money next year. So that seems the only fair thing to do. It can't just be giving more money to the players that play better than.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with Jamal Adams.
No, but just in general, any player that complains that, hey, look, this one got this and this one played better than the money he was getting, where's mine? Then they should also have to deal with getting less money if they underperform.
Well, they do that. Like Mitchell Trubisky, they declined his option. Solomon Thomas. No, the owners cut players all the time. Stay on the topic of Jamal Adams, because I'm not talking about other players that don't live up to their contracts. I've said that before, that, guys want money, but then if they don't perform, then, can I take money away? And it doesn't work that way. But this is about Jamal Adams. He has outperformed his contract, just like some of these other players are that are getting extended. And if just the Jets, it's a mess. Now he gave a list of, I think, 7 teams that he would go to, or that he would like to go to. And what are you going to get in return? For a guy who plays a position that's not a valuable position, what are you going to get in return? Yeah, McLovin.
The Steelers gave up a first rounder for Minka Fitzpatrick, and he helped them tremendously. So maybe, I think if you're a team like Dallas, you'd give up a first rounder and a second for Jamal Adams, right? Because it's not going to be a high first rounder.
I don't know what they have. I don't know what Dallas has. I don't know what, they have picks to give.
I think he's from Texas, right, or something.
Well, he wants to go there.
Yeah, he keeps getting rumored there. That's why I said that team. But yeah, if they have a first rounder, it'd probably be like the 24, 25 pick. Why not, right?
If you can do that, man, the Steelers, I think they gave up a late first round pick for Minka Fitzpatrick. and he performed, admirably for them. I don't always agree when, the Cowboys re-signed Ezekiel Elliott, and I thought it was foolish to do it, but they valued Ezekiel Elliott and the running game, and that took pressure off of Dak Prescott. That's their philosophy. That's Jerry Jones' philosophy. And then he gave Zeke Elliott the contract extension. I wouldn't have done that. Carolina with Christian McCaffrey, I wouldn't have done it. But when you take a running back high, you've already said, hey, we value that position. I wouldn't have taken, Saquon Barkley. I was on record as saying, take him because I thought the Giants were ready to compete for a Super Bowl. And then that all went south. Certainly that high-priced defense didn't show up. And now you got Saquon Barkley. Wonderful player, but is he the right guy to spend the second pick in the draft? The answer is no. But that's where we are with the NFL. In certain positions, certain owners, certain GMs, certain coaches value. And you put your money there. Now Jamal Adams is saying, I did everything you wanted me to do. These other guys are getting extended. I would like to get a contract extension. And now we realize that it's not going to happen. Now what do you get for him? Yeah, Paulie.
If they were the same price, would you rather add Jamal Adams to your team or Christian McCaffrey to your team? And why?
What kind of team do I have?
You're an average team who you have a slot of that much money to pick one player. They're both out there. You don't have a good running back and you don't have a good safety.
I would take Christian McCaffrey because he can check the boxes on a few things here. Let's be honest with total transparency. I got a white superstar at running back here. And that with fans coming out, fans aren't coming out to see Jamal Adams. They may appreciate him when they come out. People are coming out to see Christian McCaffrey. And does that factor in with a franchise like Carolina that's not very good? And the answer is yes. So Christian McCaffrey is different. If you said Saquon Barkley or Jamal Adams, that would be more interesting here because McCaffrey is an anomaly. Yeah, McLevin.
And the thing is, I can't think of a Jamal Adams highlight off the top of my head. That's really, what's a signature play?
Well, we don't usually show Jets highlights.
That's probably
They're
why.
not playing in a. Well, no, we don't show their game. I mean, nobody cares about the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point. Like, the Jamal Adams, safeties don't, like you said, they don't put people in the stands. They're really hugely important players, but they're not like highlight players.
Well,
typically.
you can't have a highlight, like an impact player, because there's no games that you can have an impact on. That's part of the problem. Like, if he played in Baltimore, you'd know about Jamal Adams. If he played with if he was in the secondary of the Niners, you'd know about Jamal Adams. He plays for the Jets. Yeah, Paul.
I guess you could go back to the Ravens. Ask a Ravens fan if they could go back in time and have Jamal Lewis the running back or Ed Reed the safety. Who was more vital to that team long term? It was Ed Reed times 5.
I think the NFL was just different back then, but Ed Reed was such a great return guy, and if he picked you off, he was going to try to score on you. And Jamal Adams, it just feels like he's just a larger a smaller linebacker playing in the middle of the field. Yeah, McLevin.
I think it's unfair for you guys to bring up Ed Reed because he's like the GOAT at that position. He's the best ever, probably. I mean, arguably.
Yeah.
I mean, here are the top paid safeties in the NFL right now. Eddie Jackson for the Bears, Kevin Byard for the Titans.
And he's good.
They're good, but they're not. They're very anonymous. And then you got Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, Landon Collins. That was a mistake. Earl Thomas and Devin McCourty.
Well, McCourty's good.
They're all good.
Earl was.
But like you said, they're not really highlight players,
And what's Earl Thomas known for? Lighting people up. Yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
But Jamal Adams, at this point of his career, is on the same track as Ed Reed. 2 Pro Bowls in 3 years and 1 first-team All-Pro. That's exactly the same as Ed Reed's first 3 years. He's not Ed Reed yet because he's 24, but he appears to be the best safety in the game at 24.
All right, we'll settle on a poll question here coming up. And Paul Finebaum will join us, Mark Cuban. We did have the big golf match yesterday. The boys in the back, it was Tyler, the moderator, versus Mario. I couldn't go through it again. I would not go through it again. It was that tense. Yes, Eden.
Why is that? Is it because of the quality of golf, or?
I don't know if I can summarize it. There was some smack talk, there was allegations of cheating.
Well, oh, really?
Wow.
How was
There-
the sportsmanship?
Not good. Not good. So bad golf. It got tense. I mean, it got real. Like, it was serious. And you learn more about somebody on a golf course than any other place. Like, you could tell their personalities after 2 holes. That's why when business guys love playing golf, because you find out about that person you're playing golf with. And I found out a whole lot about both of those guys yesterday. I had to leave after 7 holes. I didn't stay to the end. I didn't have to stay, but I didn't want to because it got really intense. And there will be a shower of shame at the end of the show for one of the two. The Danettes do not know who. I'm not going to say who won because I don't think anybody won yesterday.
We're all losers
Yes.
today.
Yeah. But it was tense. And I would have bet on Tyler, the moderator, because I thought he could keep his stuff together. And I thought the pressure might get to Mario. The pressure got to Tyler, the moderator. Big time. Yeah, Paul.
You guys were on the driving range, and I went up, and I was just kind of watching the guy swing. And Tyler, the moderator, sculled about 4 balls to the right. He turns, walks past Seton and he goes, I'm losing it, man. I'm freaking.
I'm freaking out.
That was
know.
my horse.
I know.
Imagine your horse in the Derby walks past you, goes, I'm freaking.
He said, oh, the camera's getting to me. Camera's getting to me. And they started drinking early, and I went, like, it was real. Like, it was real intense. Yes, he.
I was impressed with, we watched the first 2 holes, and especially the first hole, though. I was impressed with Mario right out of the gate. He had a nice drive. I want to say his approach shot was pretty nice.
Shot, yeah.
He got there. I think he got there. Could have got there in 2. Maybe it was 3. I was impressed with how he looked.
Well, I'm glad you got to see that hole.
Oh, teaser.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Andrew Brandt, former GM, is going to join us. I just want to ask him about this Jamal Adams situation with these contracts, because if you sit out, like, didn't they change the rules in the last collective bargaining agreement, McLevin?
I think they made holding out more difficult.
Yeah.
I'll double check that. We could ask Andrew
Because
Brandt.
I don't think you get service time when you hold out. But I just want to ask him about this and the possibility, the likelihood that Jamal Adams could get traded. 22 after the hour. This is the Dan Patrick Show. Raycon earbuds, they start at about half the price of any of the other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and they sound just as amazing as the other top audio brands that you know. The everyday E25 earbuds, those are the ones I use, the best ones that they have. 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, more compact design, and you want that great noise-isolating fit, and that's what you have with Raycon's wireless earbuds. They're so comfortable, perfect for conference calls, video chats, just listening to music. Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, Melissa Etheridge, just some of the celebrities, musicians who swear by this. Co-founded by Ray J. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/Patrick. That's buyraycon.com/Patrick for 15% off your Raycon wireless earbuds. You'll love them. And just the comfort there, the sound, the bass that you have with them, make sure you check them out for 15% off. Raycon wireless earbuds at buyraycon.com/Patrick. Now on the tee, his shirts are tighter than Phil Mickelson's. He used to get our breakfast. Now we don't know what he does around here. You may know him from his legendary choke job during the AUAA Season 1. Jean Vandeveld just called and said he can't wait to see him golf. Here he is, Ario Miranda. Now on the tee, he recently quit smoking, which was pretty much all he was known for. He also drives a Camaro, but has never actually had a female in the passenger seat. You don't know him, but you would love him. He's Tyler, the moderator.
What do you want to change going into the rest of the round?
Well, I've got to apologize to my fellow chatters, man. I did not expect to fold under pressure like that, but I just cracked a brewski, Bud Light Seltzer, and I am ready to come back here.
Wow, that's a lot of excuses. Back to you guys. Hey, tell me what you were thinking when you hit that amazing shot out of the weeds.
Well, I've played that ball a lot. I mean, I'm not a great golfer, so I've been.
No, we know. No, we know.
I've been in Fescue a ton, so I'm just used to that. That's just business as usual for me, Mark.
This isn't pretty. In fact, I should be getting paid to be out here. But there's tension in that cart with those two guys. Real tension. And they started drinking. Tyler, who gave up smoking, is now grabbing a big dip. So I don't know if these guys are going to survive. There could be tears. We just showed the first three holes if you're watching on YouTube channel. We showed the first three holes with Mario and Tyler, the moderator, all tied up after the first three holes. And, man, it is tense. Even watching back, it's tense. So next hour, we'll have the next three holes. Final hour, the final three holes. And then we'll have a shower of shame. I will say that the person who won feels like they should take a shower of shame as well because everybody lost yesterday. That was just brought up to me that maybe that, I should take a shower of shame. Yeah, Paul.
Dan, I minored in psychology, and that's a big tell that someone feels guilty by winning via cheating.
I'm just saying that nobody won yesterday. Somebody lost yesterday. Yes, Eden.
That feels like one of those things that you really just want to hit both people with
Oh, that I do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we all get to throw water balloons at them.
That feels like actually
we
it was
all-
the cost of you being there yesterday
Yes.
is now everybody's getting
I'm
hit.
angry. I'm angry. I had to witness this. Yeah. So we have water balloons. I will say that the person who won did try to put hot sauce in a water balloon, 2 of them. And the big German said, no, can't do that. No hot sauce in the water balloons. But we do have some juice and milk and some other things there. So we'll line them up against the wall. It'll be everybody gets a chance to fire water balloons at the loser from yesterday's golf match. All right, we'll come up with a poll question. Did you have the poll question, McLovin? I want to bring in Andrew Brandt.
Yeah, we're going to do that NFL question. If you were an NFL caliber player, what's the position you wouldn't want to play? Running back, inside linebacker, safety, or offensive lineman? And we all have a different opinion on this side of the class.
Let's bring in Andrew Brandt, the Monday morning quarterback columnist, former front office executive. Let me ask you that question. I'll start with that, Andrew. What's the position that you wouldn't want to, knowing what you get paid and the prestige that goes along with it, what's the worst position in the NFL?
Yeah, good morning, Dan. And I think it's got to be the business approach, which is my expertise, and it's got to be running back. It's the shortest shelf life in the NFL. They're the most disadvantaged by this college eligibility rule of 3 years in college before you can come out, because their prime earning years are when they're in college. And of course, their first contract, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And by the time they get to the second contract, a lot of teams are like, yeah, they're kind of washed up and we can get one in the low rounds. And the only guys paid really now are McCaffrey and Bell on the franchise tag last year. It's like, yeah, it's a bad position if you're talking about the business of football.
And I said at the time, look, if Carolina needs to have somebody you want to come out and watch, then pay Christian McCaffrey. You're not going anywhere with that team for the next couple of years. Dallas invested in Zeke Elliott, and then they gave him the contract extension, which I wouldn't have done. But, Jerry believes in, hey, we have a good running attack. I don't know what the Giants are going to do with Saquon Barkley at that position. Handicap that down the road. Where we are with the NFL, with these running backs, first of all, is a running back going to be taken in the top 10 anytime soon? And are you going to extend these running backs that you take in the first round?
Yeah, I mean, I guess from a personnel standpoint, there's always those outliers like Elliott, like Barkley, like McCaffrey, that are going to be top 10 picks, maybe one every 2 years. I mean, I think that's where we're really talking about. But on the pay scale, listen, I hear about the outliers, Frank Gore, Emmitt Smith, Curtis Martin, but that's what they are. They're outliers, and we got a league that doesn't like to admit it. But people in my former position are all into analytics right now, all into modeling and statistical analysis and quants and Harvard PhDs in the back of the offices. And they're telling them, don't pay running backs. I mean, just don't pay them. When you talk about allocation of resources, the positions, quarterback, pass rusher, left tackle. But at the bottom of that is running back. And that's my answer. That's the bottom position. So there are going to be some tough decisions. You got a guy like Aaron Jones who had a great year for the Packers. You see my helmet.
Yeah.
What'd they do? They draft a running back in the second round. So this is happening all over the league.
Well, if you could have Christian McCaffrey or Jamal Adams, who would you want? Let's say pay is the same.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to contradict what I just said. Because he's truly special. I think there's a guy. He's truly special, but in McCaffrey, but there's so few of them. And segueing, you're right, Dan. Safety's kind of back there on the list too. Safety, linebacker. These are the positions that traditionally don't get paid. Now, I know what Adams is saying, what his agent's going to say. They're special. They're the McCaffrey and Elliott's of that world. But again, teams are looking at it and say, okay, where are my resources? Quarterback, they're going to have to pay Darnold in a couple a year. And then pass rusher, and then, of course, left tackle and the offensive line. And you've got a GM there whose history is pay the trenches, as he did in Philadelphia, pay the trenches. The Lane Johnsons, the Fletcher Coxes, and then from there, look outside.
The situation with Jamal Adams, where he is, he wants to get a new contract here. But does he have any options here? Does he have any leverage?
I mean, the short answer is no. I think some teams are a little more, it's a hard word, like cowed by this kind of thing. But I think in recent years, less and less teams. I mean, I think back to the Jets years ago that were cowed by the civil disobedience of Darrelle Revis and responded. But I don't think there's much going around right now that has that. And as I tweeted this morning, Adams has no leverage contractually. He did a 5-year rookie contract. Well, it's 4 years plus an option. And as we know, there are tags beyond that. So right now, the Jets have 2 years of contract control plus any tags. And how do you have leverage there? I mean, how do you have leverage? And as you indicated before the break, if he tries to extend this to take it to another level with a holdout, oh my God. I mean, the CBA already rolled back rookie contracts and the kind of contract control teams have, but now they added penalties severe for holdouts.
We're talking to Andrew Brandt, the Monday morning quarterback columnist, former front office executive. If Jamal Adams called you for advice today, what would you tell him?
Is there a way to have reasonable contract negotiations now rather than play on this contract for 2 years? Because I think once you get to trade demands, then you're not talking. Then it's kind of like baseball. Then you're just kind of in the corners.
Yeah.
You know, can we get to a contract and not have him sit for 2 years waiting for that to happen? Now, Jamal Adams, I would be the agent. I would understand you'd have to take below market because you're 2 years away. Whatever the top of the free agent safety market is, they were free agents. They didn't have 2 years left. So you got to balance that versus his talent versus whoever those players are.
What are the Cowboys waiting for with Dak Prescott, or what is Dak Prescott waiting for?
I'm going to take a different view here. I said this on your show before. Dak Prescott not only has leverage, but his leverage increases if he waits. Now, can he wait? Because if he waits, then there's a second tag, and do they really want to do that? And then he's negotiating with extreme leverage. But maybe that's the play that CAA is using with the Cowboys. Like, we want to really knock it out of the park. Home run. And if you don't want to do a home run, Cowboys, we'll wait. It's kind of that simple. And, I think Mahomes, I think Chiefs are going to throw a ton of money at him. And he can say, great, or he can say, I'll wait, and my leverage will only go up. And so with Prescott, people can mock $40 million a year, whatever he wants, but why not? What's his downside? Play for 25 this year? Okay.
The business of bringing in Colin Kaepernick. We know the political aspect of this, but the business side of this, tell me why you would or wouldn't bring in Kaepernick if you were running a team.
Well, I wouldn't, because it just seems so reactionary. You haven't done it for 4 years. No one's been eager to do it before. You talk about Goodell encouraging teams to sign. I mean, if I'm an owner, I'd encourage Goodell to stay out of our
I was
business.
going to say, what does that mean, that the commissioner's encouraging owners to do this? I mean, they probably look at Roger and say, Roger, shut up. We run this league.
And no one has, quote unquote, endorsed his statement, which is another issue in itself about protest. But I just think if Kaepernick, the other issue with Kaepernick that's been there all along, Dan, is backup players. I've been there, front office. You don't want backup players getting a lot of attention, frankly.
Yeah.
If you got a star quarterback, it's a lot of attention off the field, fine. But a backup player, and obviously he's going to be a backup. He hasn't played in 3 years. And what team is going to say, forget all the politics? Well, this guy, what player in the league right now is coming off 3 years of inactivity? Zero.
We had Dr. Fauci on yesterday, and he has talked about maybe the NFL needs a bubble like the NBA. Your thoughts on the bubble for the NFL?
Well, it's interesting because we've seen comments from Dr. Sills of the NFL, Dr. Mayer of the NFLPA, and the translation, Dan, of those comments is, thanks, Doc. We'll handle it. Because they don't want to go in the bubble. They don't want to put 53 plus 20 coaches plus 50 staff in a bubble. Now they do a bubble on Saturday night and Sunday before the game, but no. I mean, listen, this is a big issue because we've been here 10 years with concussions. What's the stated priority of the NFL? Health and safety of our players. Now, here's the reality. If that's true, they wouldn't play. right?
Yeah.
If that's their number one priority,
Yeah.
they wouldn't play. But it's not true, because the business of sports, because the economics say you really have to play. And you have to play, and whatever modifications you have to do. But if you start drilling down, here's the problem. You got 150 pages about social distancing and not spitting or sneezing or locker room 6. But it's football. How do you practice and play football among these protocols? That's the needle that they're trying to thread here. You can do all you want with 115 pages of protocols, but I don't know if any of them go into playing the game, practicing, which is the opposite of social distancing. It's, bodily contact and sweat and droplets everywhere. So I don't know how you solve that.
Yeah, I saw where Sean McVay was basically saying that. He goes, I don't know how you can be safe, but then play football. John Harbaugh said, I just don't know how this is possible here. And I wonder.
Well, John Harbaugh's talking about the protocols, which is great. I mean, listen, you got to do it. Sorry, John, it's impossible to live like that, but you got to. But the McVay thing is more realistic. It's like, what about playing?
I know.
And when you have a coach saying that, that's an issue. So listen, the NFL has been extremely fortunate. They can watch basketball, they can watch hockey, they can watch, if baseball comes back, they can watch MLS. How they do with testing and treatment and tracing. What did they do? What's best practices for isolating and quarantine? They're so lucky because of the timing. But then you get to the fundamental question of, can they actually play this game where the virus is going to be in 3 months? They're hoping it's much less than it is now, but that hope is not a plan.
Good to talk to you, Andrew. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, Dan.
That's Andrew Brandt, Monday morning quarterback columnist. Paulie has a new game when we come back. That title of the new game is?
What the hell is he saying? That's it. Yeah, we have.
Oh, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, what the hell is he saying?
Okay.
We have a quote from a famous NFL head coach. We have no idea what he's saying.
Okay. What the hell is he saying?
It's also known as, what is he talking about? But we spiced it up a little bit.
Play of the day is also coming up as well here on the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan, as you know, the titans of the golf industry went at it yesterday, Mario versus Tyler, the moderator. Now, we were on the course. I was a spectator. And if you remember, the AUAA had that great logo. Was it you falling, or did we use something else? I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, we might have. There's a new logo for when the basketball season resumes.
Yeah.
We have a new logo that we're ready to unveil at any time.
Okay, if the AUAA gets together golf and we have the PGAUAA.
Yes.
Here is going to be the logo photo. Two goofballs walking through 18-inch weeds looking for the ball for half an hour. Oh, no. It's like, look at the lovely rocks.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
And the trees, and the sun is nice.
I know it's one goofball because the other person's
the other person's just helping.
I'm just there helping.
We'll shop you out. But I love the idea of a guy walking through the middle of the field looking for the ball as our logo. It's not Jack Nicklaus hitting a beautiful drive.
Perfect.
I sat there, Steve and I were walking around in McLovin, and we looked, I go, I think that's the shot.
In the moment,
all I know
that's
is
the logo.
Nobody seemed to lose a ball yesterday unless they put it in the water. Everybody found their ball when it went into the fescue.
Found a ball or their ball?
I'm just...
that sounds controversial.
All I know is nobody lost a ball only when they put it in the water.
Mm-hmm. Well, pocket pool.
I had a $10 bet on who lost the first ball, too. This was a huge moment.
Oh, but he had an unbelievable shot out of that. Are punches thrown?
Tomorrow night. Yes.
Punches are
on
thrown.
Bachelor in Paradise, punches are thrown.
Okay.
By two models.
Okay.
Men.
Okay.
Male models.
What happened?
So these are two guys, Jordan and Christian, are on the beach there in Paradise, and somehow Clay is involved. Clay is one of our kind of football guys, and things get heated. And these two models, they go off. It was like a bad Zoolander.
And what happened?
I won't give it away, but
did you get involved?
Oddly enough, no, I sat there. So this is really interesting. So the control truck, which is where I'm watching all of this go down, is, I don't know, it's like, say, a quarter mile away, about 400 yards up this hill. So I'm sitting there watching, and this other executive producer sitting next to me. And as soon as it happened, he runs out like he was shot out of a cannon to go break this up. You know, security's there, producers are there. And I just sat there watching. I mean, why? First of all, why are we breaking it up? Let them go.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah,
it's Mexico. I don't think there's any rules to this.
No.
And so let's see these two models. What are they going to do? Scratch each other to death?
Yeah, I'm surprised that they'd be throwing punches, like maybe in their arm, like hitting you in the arm, not in the face.
It was very Zoolander. Like, no. Everything, shoulders and below.
Yes.
Keep it in, nothing in the face. But no, it got serious. And I don't want to give away the end of the fight, but one of the models really threw the guy, like impressively took him down, like octagon style, great takedown.
And what was this over?
It was over a piñata, Dan.
Of course. How many fights are started that way?
In Mexico,
just
probably
today.
a lot.
Just today alone.
But truly, the fight was over a piñata. It goes deeper than the piñata. There was a woman involved, but the piñata that broke the camel's back was a piñata.
Well, how much? There's part of you has to show great restraint because you want content.
Yeah, and in all seriousness, we had to break it up, and we stopped it quickly before it got too serious because we can't have that. And yes, you want the emotion, you want these people to give you good story, but that's not something we can tolerate. So we had to break it up. Unfortunately, I would have let it go a little bit longer. That's just me.
You know, when you see these shows and everybody gets together and you're not quite sure what's going to happen. Right. Have you ever had something where you go, nothing happened? Like that's not, your goal is to get something to happen.
Right. Well, it's scary when you produce a show and you create a show, you know, say it's a game show or what have you, there's a beginning, middle, and end. There's a goal you're going to reach. And this will have, say Survivor or Dancing with the Stars, whatever it is, it's a bit of a game show. There is something you're going to get to. Well, with Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise, you have a goal, which is a relationship, but you're really left up to free will. You don't know if you're going to get that relationship. And so every time you go into Paradise, which is on tonight and tomorrow night, you hope. I mean, you hope these people are going to hook up. You hope you're going to get a relationship. You hope you're going to get something, but you're really not guaranteed. It really is a scary way to go into a show.
Of the day.
Runner left side, got it! They're gonna play it and play it.
This is the play of the day.
Check this out.
Iguodala to inbound. Shumpert trying to stay with Curry. Catches one dribble, steps back, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound tip taken by Spates. Final seconds. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Mike Breen on the call 4 years ago today. LeBron and the Cavs delivered the city of Cleveland its first championship in 40 years. The Cavs also became the first team in NBA history to win a title after being down 3-1 in that series. I like when people go, hey, Jordan never came back from 3-1 to win a title. And I always say, Jordan would not get down 3-1 to win a title. Play of the day. Play of the day brought to you by Raycon. Buy Raycon.com/Patrick. Get 15% off these wireless earbuds. They're the way to go. Buy Raycon.com/Patrick. So we have our poll question, right, McLovin?
Yeah, what position do you not want to play in the NFL? The choices being running back, safety, inside linebacker, or offensive lineman. And our people do not want to play offensive lineman, which gets paid the most by far out of that group.
Yeah, you just get no notoriety unless you're called for holding. Yes,
that just feels like a long day, doesn't it?
Being an offensive lineman?
Oh, man, that feels like a long day.
And you only get your name called out if you gave up a sack or you were called for holding. Yes, McLevin.
And by the way, we don't talk as much about head trauma anymore, but safety and running back are the two most prominent positions to have problems, and linebacker.
All right, Paulie says we have a new game. What the hell did he say?
What are you talking about?
Oh.
We're workshop.
Okay, all right.
We got new music, though, for it.
Okay. That sounds like the old music.
Thank you,
Okay,
Seton.
here we go.
Sean McVay, the LA Rams head coach, has the following quote, but before we play it, is he saying that he doesn't like social distancing rules at the facility because it doesn't match with the physicality of football, or is he saying that we can't have football at all because of social distancing rules? Sean McVay.
We're talking about some of this stuff and we're playing football. I mean, we're going to social distance, but we play football. This is really hard for me to understand all this. I don't want to be, I don't get it.
Wait, did Sean McVay become John Gruden?
Yeah, it sounds like he's channeling John Gruden from 9 years ago.
I think he's basically saying we can't have both here. We can't play football and have social distancing. Yeah.
So which does he have a problem with? Social distancing or playing football?
Social distancing. Because he's a football guy. Football guys want to play football.
Yeah, that's football's football. That's why we play football.
Yes, McLevin.
When John Harbaugh said the same thing, it's impractical that you're going to social distance the locker room and then be in the huddle together and break all that social distance.
Yeah, Todd.
I could read that easily the other way as like, why are we playing? There's no way to keep everyone safe. Let's wait for a vaccine. Hopefully things will be better next year. It's stupid to even risk everybody.
Let's play it again. Here's Sean McVay, the head coach of the Rams.
We're talking about some of this stuff and we're playing football. I mean, we're going to social distance, but we play football. This is really hard for me to understand all this. I don't want to be, I don't get it.
So what is he saying?
That's the name of the game.
So what you saying?
So what are you talking about?
I don't know why somebody didn't say, wait, coach, do you have a problem with playing football or everything else that leads up to playing football? Yeah, Paul.
It feels like Sean McVay's in one of those body switching movies where he sounds like an old SEC coach who's 65. He's 34 years old. Sean McVay's young. He talks like he's about 60.
Let's play it one more time.
We're talking about some of this stuff and we're playing football. I mean, we're going to social distance, but we play football. This is really hard for me to understand all this.
He can't be 34.
I don't want to be, I don't get it.
He can't be 34.
I'm telling you.
I mean, we're talking about playing football. Yeah, Todd.
Now it sounds like listening to it again. We're playing football. So forget about all this protocol. It's not going to happen. We're playing football. You run the risk of getting sick and droplets on each other. Deal with it. Stop with the 115-page book on this.
I don't know if we cleared anything up there. We're playing football.
Yeah, so I don't get it, because then you got like these cell phones and stuff. I don't know what this technology. I don't get it. I don't get it.
IG.
Yeah, what are they
TikTok.
on the Snapagram? I don't get it.
Back when I was a kid, 8 years ago.
Doesn't he sound like that? That would be something that Belichick would say.
Yeah.
Not a 34-year-old. Belichick's 65. Sean McVay's 34. I play football.
Play footballs. That's why we do.
Belichick's actually 68. But he looks 65. Paul Finebaum will join us on loan from the mothership. Mark Cuban, the Mavs owner, will join us. Here's an interesting stat. Best record of an NBA team since the 2000 season. This team has the best record. They have won 69% of their games from 2000 to today. 69% of their games. San Antonio Spurs. Second on that list, this team has won 60% of their games since 2000. Dallas Mavericks. You'd win some money on that bet. I don't know who's last on that list. I'm going to guess it's the Knicks, but Rockets are third on the list, then the Celtics, and then the Miami Heat. Cuban bought the team in 2000. Ross Perot Jr. Seton, don't you do a Ross Perot impersonation?
Can I finish? Can I finish? Got the chickens in the hen house. Can I finish?
More golf coming up. Well, the highlights coming up. did you? No, you don't have to name any names. Did you get cash offers or?
A lot of it, cash, cars,
really?
cattle, cash.
Wait.
It's the truth.
Cattle?
Cattle. Yes. Cattle, cash. I had one head coach call me and say, "You come to our school, you'll never have to worry about wheels the rest of your life."
So the cattle probably wasn't a California school.
That's a really good call by you, Dan.
Could have been in Texas or Oklahoma. No names.
Well, hey, getting warmer.
What's the biggest cash offer you got out of high school?
Well, I'd probably say that it was more than six figures.
Man.
And Dan, and this is no secret. We got in trouble for this. We were put on probation at SC. This is not something I'm just spring. I can remember when I was at the Trojans, and we had an alumni. And remember when the ticket scalping, we were put on probation for a year where you'd buy tickets and you'd sell them for more. You know that situation?
Yeah.
Well, you had an alumni, and I can remember when I had mine, you'd walk into Heritage Hall, and I can remember at the time, and like I said, this isn't something, oh my gosh, we were put on probation for ticket scalping. And then that came into a point where you had to show a pass at the gate with ID for family. Then I walked in my alumni memory, we walked into the bathroom. I was handed an envelope, like when we played Notre Dame UCLA, because we got extra money for that one. So I'd sell my 4 or 8 tickets that we had to an alumni. I'd be handed cash in my little brown envelope, and I would take it home with me, and that was my pizza money for the second semester.
How much was it?
And I think the most I got for 8 Notre Dame tickets at home was probably just under $3,000, something like that.
Sean, hold on. Paulie, we have the IRS on the phone?
And the NCAA.
And the NCAA. They'd like to talk to you, Sean.
Well, I got news for you. Tell them I already hit my rock bottom so they can kiss my rear end.
Is this
but Dan, and I talked to other guys on other cuts after probation, and when you went to the NFL locker room, the guy from the school sitting next to you, it was, well, and I'm not saying it was everybody was doing it, you just thought it was the norm. And then when you get put on probation, you no longer had hand-to-hand tickets anymore. And that's how it happened. So yes, in recruiting, Dan, when at that time, remember now, as the number 1 recruit in the country, and I don't mean an area, it just was, that it was, it would have been very easy to say, hey, I'll take that, and I'll take that, and do this. But my parents, I wanted to go to USC, and this is the honest-to-God truth as I sit here today. And, Dan, I'm transparent about everything. At no time, John Robinson, you'll love this, sitting in my living room, John Robinson was there, Paul Hackett was there. It was early February before February 8th signing day. It was one of John's last home visits. And Coach Robinson sat there, had his national championship ring on his finger. He goes, Sean, we want you. You're the number 1 recruit in the country. We'd love to have you at USC. And this is, I'm telling you verbatim. He said, and we're going to put you in an environment to be successful. He said, but if you don't come to USC, we're still going to show up on Saturday, and we're still going to win. And he shook my family's hand. I looked at my dad. He left with Paul Hackett. About 5 minutes after, my dad said, I think you want to be a part of that, don't you? And I promise you, as I sit here, and then I made the decision 7 days later to go to USC over BYU.
Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work.
Welcome to the Dan Patrick Show, hosted by Dan Patrick and joined by the four Danettes.
Unnecessarily confrontational. That's just the best phrase I can use.
Each a critical component to the success of the show.
Todd wasn't doing anything.
And the slow, steady breakdown of Todd Fritz.
I've got like documented emails and texts of responses that are like, where did that come from? All I'm saying is, how about so-and-so for Thursday? And then if it comes, what?
Bringing you the best guests from athletes and entertainers.
What happened to Ice Cube? He was supposed to join us today.
To doctors.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases.
Maybe we should consider a therapist.
How I'm communicating with is very different.
And now, broadcasting from the excuse me. Todd, could you grab me some water?
You have got to be kidding.
This is Dan Patrick.
It's hour 2 on this Meat Friday. We've been so busy with everything else, I don't even know what we're cooking today. Alan, the IT guy, has the Traegers fired up. We got a shower of shame coming up in the final hour of the show. We had the big golf match yesterday. Mario against Tyler, the moderator. We gave you the first 3 holes about an hour ago, and then coming up in about 20 minutes from now on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dan Patrick Show, the next 3 holes, and then in the final hour, the final 3 holes. The loser, it's a firing squad of water balloons, and the person who won the match yesterday was going to put hot sauce in some balloons, and then it was suggested, why stop there? Why not put bleach in one of those balloons while you're at it? So We've got milk, juice, and water in the balloons, and that'll be coming up in the final hour of the show. Don't want to give away who won, but we all lost after watching that yesterday. 877-3DP-SHOW, email address, dp@danpatrick.com, Twitter handle at DP Show. Say good morning to our radio partners. Good morning. And chat row, and those watching on youtube.com/The Dan Patrick Show. We'll get to phone calls coming up. Got a poll question. I don't know if we stay with this poll question. Are we going to?
Nope.
Oh, we're not.
The question is, what position would you not want to play in the NFL?
Okay.
We had all these like franchise tag numbers, but everyone said, no, I don't want to be an offensive lineman, even though they get paid.
All right.
So we have some silly ones, Dan, because it's Friday.
Okay.
I will hit you. It's National Skateboarding Day. Who would you rather be? Tony Hawk, the greatest skateboarder, arguably, or Kelly Slater, the greatest surfer, arguably?
Kelly Slater.
Do you get Kelly Slater's looks, is what everyone's asking.
I'm Kelly Slater.
No, you have his ability and career, but
Wait,
your
you're
look.
not defining the poll question.
Have to, because Kelly Slater's too good looking.
Yeah, but Tony Hawk has got a couple $100 million. Yes, Eden.
There is one major factor that differentiates the two, and why there's no way I'm taking Kelly Slater.
Okay.
I'll let you guess what that is.
You're afraid of the water.
No.
Oh.
I'm afraid of what's in the water. Sharks.
Okay.
I have a very real fear of being eaten alive by an animal, and I do not want to be eaten alive by a shark.
Okay. So you'd rather be injured like Tony Hawk gets injured.
Yeah.
As opposed to the possibility of being eaten by a shark.
Okay, if I gave you the choice right now, you could be injured, you could have like an injured knee, or you could be eaten alive by a shark. Which would you take?
Ooh.
Well, the potential, the potential to be eaten by a shark.
No, the potential of a knee injury or the potential of being eaten alive.
I've had the knee injury.
Okay, all right, try being eaten alive then, and let me know which one is better.
That poll question's got to be 100% knee injury over eaten by a shark.
Are you sure?
I would think that'd be 100%.
Okay, let's say you're not afraid of sharks. Then I would be Kelly Slater.
Why would you not be afraid of sharks?
Well, let's say they police the water and I could be up on my surfboard and then there's no sharks in there.
It's underwater. They can't police under there. They can police.
They could say, look out, shark, and then you get eaten.
Yeah.
They give you a 2-second warning. There's a
Hey,
shark
you have a
there.
lifeguard there that says, shark! What other?
But did Mick Fanning, that surfer, get attacked by sharks twice?
Twice?
Yeah. That's bad.
After the first time, I have no sympathy for you for the second time.
But do you think Mick Fanning thought usually your odds of a shark attack are like 0.000? He figured, I'm attacked once, I'm in the clear for a while, odds-wise.
What else do you have, McLovin?
Well, if you're not into that, you're not going to like it. Are you more? The next one, are you more afraid of bears or sharks?
Sharks.
Yeah, me too. All of us here, I think.
I at least see the bear coming. I don't see the shark.
Any run-ins? Because I know you go hiking up there in the woods sometimes.
I've encountered bears, but for the most part, bears don't really care about us. Sharks care about us. Bears, no. That Coyote bear that I saw in British Columbia, he was just there grabbing salmon. Now, if he really wanted me, then he could have had filet of Dan, and I couldn't have gotten away from him. But he was in his own little world, just going out there, stabbing salmon who were, spawning, swimming upstream. Shark, see, I don't like going into the water that I can't see the bottom. I like looking at the water. I don't like being in the water. And then you get like seaweed that wraps around your leg, and you're like, whoa, what's that? What's that? Meanwhile, your kids are playing, and they have, they couldn't care less. Yeah, McLovin.
I don't know if I got enough love for the story I told last year. I saw a great white off the beach in Cape Cod. Did I tell you guys that?
Yeah, you did.
I don't know if I got enough love for
Yeah,
the story
that
I
should
told
be a
last
bigger
year.
deal.
What a weird
That sounds like
thing to
something I
say.
would say.
That should be, there's McLovin, the guy who saw the great white. Did I never get that?
I don't know if I got enough love for that.
But what kind of love did you want that you saw a great
that like you
white?
I
wrestled
saw a
it?
great white shark in real, 60 yards.
Oh, my God, it was right next to you.
Did you save one of your kids from it, or?
I don't know, Jay
that's-
Cutler could have thrown a football. It was that close to me. I was on the land, by the way, just to be clear.
Do you think the shark looked at you on the beach and said, oh, great white?
Yeah. No, the glare kept them away. They like shiny objects, and me in the sun might have attracted them.
All right, we're going to give you more love that you saw a great white shark. By the way, are they all great white sharks? Are there average white sharks? Like everybody's a porn star. No, they're not. There's great whites. Are there good white sharks? Why is everybody great? Yes, Todd?
Not that I watch that much, but there are journeymen in the porn world. They're definitely not all stars.
Journeyman.
He's bounced around a couple places.
Different porn companies pick them up.
Yeah.
I just saw an article the other day where it said that the country lost its way when we changed porno to porn. There used to be a porno.
Well, it was pornography.
Right.
Porn.
Everything went to hell when we changed porno to porn.
Okay, McLovin, you have my word. We'll give you a little bit more love that you saw a great white shark.
Like, if you're at a barbecue this weekend, someone says, yeah, did you hear there was a shark sighting? Oh, yeah, my friend McLovin saw a great white last summer.
Can we check, are they just known as great white?
I think it's got to be the species name, right? The great white shark. But I don't know.
Yeah, I was just surprised that you're a great white shark.
Like, is there a foot length where you're the cusp of being a great white? Like, if you're 8 feet long, God, if I was 2 feet longer, I'd be a great white shark.
It's like, women who are 5'6", but to be a supermodel, you got to be 5'8". You can't be 5'6".
Right. Like, is there a white shark? There's a yellow shark. I know that. There's a blue whale.
Yeah, but they're not called great blue whales.
Right. No, I get your point. Like, should there be a white shark? I don't know.
Yes, Eden.
So the question is becoming in chat row, which I guess is sort of what we're saying. Would you rather see your death coming or be surprised by it?
Ooh. I'm going to see the bear coming before he eats me.
You're going to do that slow walk away where you try to walk slowly from the bear.
You don't make any movement.
You just back away. And they say, too, you're supposed to be really loud.
Oh, you are loud. Okay.
You're supposed to be like, get out of here, bear! And try and make yourself big, I think. Don't take this as...
No, that's right.
Don't take this as
Really?
exact advice. Yeah, I think you're supposed to be really loud. And you're supposed, if you're in a group of people, say you have 3 or 4 people, you're supposed to, make yourself look like one big being.
Stand together, wave your arms, and make noise.
Right.
I also had a run-in with a brown bear in Alaska, but I'm not even going to be that guy.
I'm not going to give you love.
You did not get nearly enough love for that run-in.
Yes, Todd.
What if the bear takes the loudness and says, I got to shut this person up. I'm just going to eat him. I don't want to hear him screaming like that. He's like, what is he doing? They're screaming and yelling. The only thing I can do
I
is
got
just
some
kill him.
cubs who are trying to sleep here. Yeah, Paul.
Be the fastest guy in the group is the best way to avoid the bears.
That is true.
Sorry, Todd.
Break first.
Yeah. What do you think the bear would think if the bear saw all 5 of us and then we all started to take off and then he just looking at Fritzy from behind?
Well, I
and
got the slow and the extra meat on me, so that's a
I
double
know.
feature right there.
You just have to wait to see if the bear says suck it front row or back row,
Whoa.
and then you're gonna know.
Whoa. All right. Yes, McLovin.
You want another hard-hitting poll question?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So it's Father's Day. Would you rather be left alone all day on Father's Day or do a big family event?
Be left alone.
That was
What? I gave you an honest answer. I kind of get that every day, whether I've asked for it or not. But yeah, probably just, because this is where everybody goes overboard since it's Father's Day. And then they don't act normal. I'd rather you just act normal. Say, hey, Dad, hey, happy Father's Day. And then you just move on. I'm okay with it. Don't need gifts. My dinner pick would be nice. And cigar, a little tequila, watch some Building Off the Grid or Main Cabin Masters. But then I did that last night, and then the night before that, and the night before that. Yes, Todd.
Now, is that a bringing in dinner, or are you prepared to be socially distant on a nice patio, or are you ready to go inside a restaurant?
No,
now that we're
I don't want to go
phase
anywhere.
two-ing it?
No, I don't want to go anywhere. Just stay at home. Fire up the Traeger. Let somebody cook on it. Good to go. Couple beers. That'd be it. Are you guys going to do the politically correct answer and say, of course I want to be surrounded by my loved ones? Yes, McLovin.
Why should we have to say that? It's our day. It's Father's Day. We shouldn't have to.
I'm just saying it felt like you guys were a little quiet on the topic.
No, you're right.
And I put myself out there, and it's like, okay. Yes, Todd.
I think it's perfectly fine to want to be left alone and have quiet, because on Mother's Day, I'm sure there's a lot of women. It's like, you take the kids and send me off to a spa day, or I'll have a girls' weekend out, and I've been taking care of everything all along. This is my time to relax, and you deal with everything.
Todd. Don't be such a fool.
Was I trapped? Was I trapped with
that? Luke in Alabama joins us. Hey, Luke, what's on your mind today?
Hey, Dan, appreciate you taking my call. Just wanted to make a suggestion that you play Sean McVay and that little clip there, and then you play Todd Fritz, section row seat. They are eerily similar. I think Sean McVay was trying to do stand-up, then realized he didn't say anything that was funny, but he couldn't get away from the microphone.
All right, Luke, thank you. I don't know if the guys in the back have section row seat with Todd available. Then we could play Sean McVay side by side with Todd at Caroline's. Which one had more comedy?
Wow.
Which one had a better punchline?
Ooh.
I went desperate with language, which had no place in that, looking for some type of chuckle.
Okay, I'm going to play Sean McVay first, and then we'll bring in Fritzy, a little bit of section row seat. Here's Sean McVay of the Rams.
We're talking about some of this stuff, and we're playing football. I mean, we're going to social distance, but we play football. This is really hard for me to understand all this. I don't want to be, I don't get it.
Okay, that's Sean McVay. Here is Todd Fritz.
So I'm at a sporting event the other night, and at least 3 different people come over to me asking if I'm sitting in their seats. So I don't know if it's if you guys ever deal with this, if you go to a concert or sporting event, how difficult is to find seats at a concert or a sporting event? Think about it. It's got all the information you need right there on the ticket. Section, row, seat number. Section, row, seat number. It's really, really not that complicated.
Okay.
I got these people coming over to me and
All
saying,
right,
I think we're in
that's
section
good enough.
9.
People coming over to me.
Yeah. Is there a way that we could play them both at the same time and then bring the volume up on one and then bring down Todd and then vice versa? So, Alan, if you can do that.
So I'm at a sporting event the other night.
Some of this stuff, and we're playing football. I mean, we're going to social
me
distance,
asking if
but
I'm
we
sitting in their
play
seats.
football.
So I
This
don't
is
know
really hard for me to understand all this.
How difficult is to find seats at a concert or
Some of this stuff, and we're playing football. I mean,
information you need right there on the ticket.
football. This is really hard.
That is great.
That's a great
Hey,
call.
Luke, call back and have Marvin give Marvin your information. I'm going to send you some T-shirts, maybe a section row seat T-shirt if we have any more left. Jesse in L.A. Hey, Jess, what do you have this morning?
Hey, DP.
Hey, bud.
Hey, happy Friday to you and the Danettes. Also commenting on the Sean McVay soundbite.
Okay.
I'm throwing in the comparison to John Gruden in terms of delivery and then the utter confusion to follow after you sort of dissect what was just said. It's just vintage Gruden. And
Oh, yeah. As soon as I heard it, I went, man, he's trying to channel John Gruden here. He's like a Gruden wannabe here.
I also had a comment, if that's okay, on LeBron James 4 years ago today after you mentioned the play of the day.
Yeah.
I think it's remarkable. You know, there's some remarkable performances. The Kyrie shot, the Kevin Love stop at the end very rarely gets mentioned, but I think it's remarkable that out of all his plays and accolades, that block is the first thing I think of when it comes to LeBron's best plays.
And it is amazing, and I don't know how many basketball players, thank you, Jesse, that you think of, you know, a football player, Malcolm Butler. When I think of Malcolm Butler, I think of that one play. But it's Malcolm Butler. He doesn't have a long resume of great plays. LeBron, with that block shot, shows you the greatness of LeBron James. Not one-dimensional, great score, going to be one of the top 5 scorers in the history of the game. Maybe top 3 of all time. Maybe top 2. But to play defense, and Jordan was a great defender. What gets lost in the shot against Utah is the strip on Karl Malone. Because he knew what Karl Malone was going to do, Jordan had the strip. And, you know, when you have these players who are that great, when you have signature plays, it's normally offensive. But with LeBron, it is that block on Andre Iguodala. And that is incredible block. And, you know, Jesse's right. You know, Kyrie hit the big shot there. But if you look at that, it is so close to being a goaltend. But, you know, LeBron chasing him down and making that block shot. Whew. Gus in Los Angeles. Hey, Gus, good to have you back.
Good morning, Mr. DP. But, hey, can I talk to the guy that saw the great white? Wow.
Well, hold on, Gus. Hey, McLovin, do you have time to talk to Gus about you seeing a great white shark?
Maybe after the show. You know, I'm the shark guy on the show, so this is probably a call for me.
Okay, yeah, he's too
What
busy right
questions?
now,
Yeah.
Gus, but thanks for showing love to McLovin.
About time.
That's funny stuff right there.
Man, callers are crushing it today. Gus, did we lose you?
Yeah, hello?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, that wasn't my punchline. That wasn't my out right there.
Oh, okay.
Quickly just wanted to say is that, you know, kind of getting back on the football topic here, is that we got Cowboys that are testing positive. We got players that are from the University of Texas that are testing positive here. It took the NFL one person, or it took the NBA one person to shut down. The NHL didn't wait to have players test positive. Why isn't the NFL shutting down? Is this like the NFL's like one shot saying we don't care about the health and wellness of our players? As long as someone's there to fill out a jersey, we don't care.
That's probably it, Gus. To be honest with you, that's why, you know, and thanks for the phone call. By the way, stay on. Oh, we just lost him. I was going to tell Marvin to get information. That was a great call. I'd send you a couple of shirts there, Gus. Yes, McLovin.
Someone just tweeted us and asked if there's such a thing as an elite white shark, sort of like the elite quarterback question.
Yeah, I don't know that. I just think, man, I got this label on. Imagine if you're a white shark and you're not great. Like you're just average. But you got to live up to the great white shark. I mean, that's really tough to do. Let me see. What else do I have here? All right, we'll get to more phone calls here. Paul Finebaum will join us coming up in about 20 minutes. Looks like Ole Miss is on the clock to change their mascot. We'll talk to Finebaum about that. Also, Mike Gundy, is he talking his way out of trouble or into more trouble? It's coming up on 19 after the hour. This is, oh, by the way, on YouTube.com/Dan Patrick Show, the next 3 holes with Mario and Tyler the moderator are coming up with a shower of shame hanging in the balance in the final hour of the show. 19 after the hour here on the Dan Patrick Show. You check things all the time like your email, your Instagram. What about checking something important as your credit? When's the last time you did it? Have you done it? And if you haven't, why not? Because I got Discover offering FICO credit scores, the score used by 90% of top lenders. Then they'll let you check for free even if you're not a customer. Checking your score won't hurt your credit. You can check each month for changes. Best of all, it's free. The Discover Credit Scorecard, free for everyone. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations do apply. Father's Day can be tough, but I've got a couple of tips for you to make it go a little smoother. It's really important to get your kids to do things for you.
That's everything on the list. We're packed up. Let's go.
Hey, hold on, guys. This is Dan. Hey, man.
You know what I'm thinking? Maybe we could use a canoe.
I don't know that we're going to have the room.
Little busy, but you guys will figure it out. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon. All right. And look, it's perfectly fine to make last-minute additions. Celebrate Father's Day by shopping in-store or online to make sure you find the perfect gift for Dad.
And we're back at the fourth hole of the mismatch. One word to describe this match so far: electric.
Playing a drinking game every time these guys hit it into the fescue. We have to drink. Fescue is French for holy I just put it into the tall grass. This is painful. And he's so competitive. Unbelievably competitive. And he's I think he thinks we're going to look at those as practice swings.
You know, during this match, I haven't been able to use the golf terms I know, like fairway, green, good shot, and par. I don't even know what else to say.
It's been everything we hoped for and then some. We knew it was going to be tight. We knew it was going to be hotly contested. We knew that there was going to be some pouting, some crying, questionable scoring. But Tyler is up 3 with 3 holes to play. May the best man, may the decent, may somebody win, please. We have a Discover Moment of the Week, and I was going to wait about 20 minutes to do it, but we have Paul Finebaum who's going to join us. I don't want to cut into his time, so if we can play the Discover Moment of the Week. It took place a couple of days ago when we had the former Chicago Cub first baseman Mark Grace on, and we were talking about steroids. How were you not tempted to use steroids?
I'm going to give you the honest answer, Dan. Okay? I was a single man in Chicago, and that stuff is bad for your get up and go, if you know what I mean. So I wanted to continue to have the ability to get up and go. So that's a big reason. Second of all, I don't think my swing was conducive. I wasn't a fly ball hitter. I hit line drives and ground balls for the most part. If I elevated a line drive, it would go out of the ballpark. So I just don't think I was never interested in it. And I'm glad I didn't, because now looking back on my career, my numbers were my numbers, not a syringe's numbers. They were my numbers, and I'm proud of that.
That's Mark Grace, former Diamondback, Chicago Cub first baseman. The Discover Card Moment of the Week brought to you by Discover. Free credit scorecard today, even if you're not a customer. It includes the FICO credit score. Checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit either. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply. Mark Grace was very popular off the field. I visited Wrigley on a weekend, and I remember Janine Turner. Was she in the show Twin Peaks?
Mm-hmm. Northern Exposure.
Or Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
First ballot.
She was Twin Peaks, but she was in Northern Exposure. And she was leaving town, and Lauren Holly, who was in Dumb and Dumber, Lauren was getting to town. I said to Gracie, you should have a turnstile here instead of a front door. He was batting cleanup, though. He was.
He was the Sosa of Rush Street?
He was. Well, Grace never went out.
Well.
No, he didn't.
We saw him a few times.
No, he was not. He was a lightweight. If we went out, he didn't stay out. And there was no reason to. Like, you stay out if you are looking for something. He could go back home. He didn't need to go searching. What is it, a 2 at 10 or 10 at 2 or whatever that is? What's your saying, McLovin? Yeah. When you were at Dartmouth?
Oh.
What were you were you a
that's what Maddox said the other.
You're a 10 at 2 and a 2 at 10.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
I'm right there with you, McLovin.
I'm looking at Janine Turner boyfriends, if we're allowed to go here, famous boyfriends.
Yeah.
Engaged to Alec Baldwin, broke it off. Jerry Jones Jr., Sylvester Stallone, Mark Grace, Mikhail Baryshnikov, and Troy Aikman, which got a lot of publicity at the time, because she's from Dallas. Not bad list there.
No. And then Lauren Holly was in Dumb and Dumber. By the way, spectacular in Dumb and Dumber.
She was such a big deal for a long time.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. And she had no idea really who Grace was. And when remember when we were in left field stands and she called into my answering machine at ESPN and she wanted my number at work and she wanted to record that she was having the greatest day of her life. She had a couple of beverages there sitting in left field at Wrigley. Doug in North Carolina joins us. Paul Finebaum will join us in about 15 minutes from now. Good morning, Doug. What's on your mind?
Well, first off, I have to give a shout-out to Marvin. That was the funniest line in the YouTube clip where he said, I can't use the golf phrase that I know, like fairway and green. But I'm calling because I've heard the openings that you played every hour, and I want to show some love to Fritzy. I'm a fairly new viewer to the show. I'm a pastor, and I've only started to watch since our church is closed down. Every show, you're a great interviewer, but every show has a host. Every show has got great guests. Since Regis Philbin, every show has got a producer that contributes. There is nobody on the media landscape like Todd Fritz. He is. Sometimes I feel guilty because I don't know if I'm laughing with him or at him, but he is a one-in-a-kind, unique person, and I think he's the heart and soul I don't know if he's any good at booking, but I think he's the heart and soul of your show. And he is just, there's nobody like him, and he makes the show entertaining, and you root for him. I mean, I seriously wonder if it's an act, because I can't believe he doesn't know how to use tongs. So I sit there and go, is this for real? Is this an act, or is this? But there's nobody else like him on the whole media landscape. So a little love to Todd Fritz.
Doug, I'll be honest. What you see and what you hear is what is real with Todd. But thank you. Todd got some nice love there. Yes, he.
Okay.
You know what?
Doug.
We should just tell the truth. It's all an act.
Well, people do think that. They do.
I
but
wish.
Thank you for the phone call, Doug. Yes, Pauline.
I would defend Fritzy there. It was a lovely compliment, but that'd be like saying, hey, Pastor, you're a good guy, but you're not really good at sermons or pasting or whatever you call it.
Well, he's new to the show, so he doesn't know. Like, we haven't had any good guest on recently, and I think that's probably why he's saying,
Wow.
he might be a good booker. I don't know that. So I don't know, Todd. I don't know how you took it,
It seemed like mainly a compliment that he appreciated my sensitive, sweet side, and I don't know why he needed to get in the little shot about that. I don't know what kind of booker he is, but again, if he's new to the show, and we don't do the list every Friday of all the guests I got anymore.
And that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Yeah.
There are some weeks when it's a very barren list.
You had a good week.
Dr. Fauci, it's not going on 1,000 shows.
If Mark Cuban shows up next hour, then you end the week on a good note.
We'll play it by ear. He's usually pretty responsible. I feel good about Mark being on time.
Yeah, but people do ask, Fritzy, is that how he really is? And I go, yep, that's how he really is. It's probably one of the more asked questions that I have. Yes,
So, yeah, what is that? Is that a good thing if people are like, is that an act? I can't tell.
No one can be that screwed up. It's got to be a scripted thing.
No.
Is that an act?
It's not an act.
You got to tell me, is that an act?
It's real.
He can't cut with scissors or tie his shoe. That's not possible. He's like 50, isn't he?
Well, you can't. You didn't know how to use the scissors, and then you said, well, you needed left-handed scissors. You didn't know how to use a broom.
Did not.
You did not know how to cut cake. You did not know how to use tongs.
Largely incompetent.
Yeah.
Underline large.
Yeah. But, you're a good booker.
So it's a work in progress. But you would think by 50, you can't just be a work in progress forever.
If you haven't learned it by 50, you're not learning it.
Got a decent hook shot.
Yes, McLovin.
I could just picture that pastor telling someone about Fritzy off the show and be like, oh, yeah, and they have a guy, McLovin. He's the shark guy. I'm trying to push his narrative.
Oh, I know. You're doing a great job.
Heart and soul.
Yeah.
And the shark guy.
Todd is the heart and soul of the show.
That's kind of sad if that was even remotely true. I don't know what that says about the whole.
Now I'm worried about this as we move forward.
We're like limping our way to a finish line that doesn't exist.
Patrick in Chicago joins us. Hi, Patrick. What do you have for me today?
Hi, Dan. It's Patrick McDermott. I'm 11 years old from Chicago.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi. What is your favorite? Who's your favorite person from Maine Cabin Masters?
Who's your favorite?
My favorite is Jedi because I play hockey and I like how he has the hockey hats on sometimes. But who's yours?
I like Ryan. He's been on the show before. I think he's kind of goofy. Jedi is really talented. It feels like he can, he can do all the things that nobody else can. But I like Ryan. But Patrick, yes?
What is your favorite episode for Maine Cabin Masters?
My favorite episode. The one where they build the cabin on the lake.
Oh, that one's a good one, but that happens like every time.
Oh, it does. You called me on that, Patrick. Thank you. Hey, I hope you have a good summer and a safe summer. Are you playing sports?
Yeah, we're driving down to Florida right now, and we're listening to the Dan Patrick Show.
All right. Is our mom and dad there with you?
Yep.
Hey, Mom and Dad.
Hey, Dan, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
We got a long drive.
Yeah, Chicago to Florida. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't know if our T-shirts will fit you, but stay on hold, and I'll have Marvin get your information if that's okay, and we'll send Patrick a couple of DP show shirts if that's all right.
That sounds great. Happy Father's Day to you guys, and front row, back row.
All right. Well, thank you, Patrick. And Patrick's dad. Safe travels there. All right. Start him young. I like it. We get them right out of the womb where somebody calls in and said, hey, my son was just born or my daughter. We'll take it. Yes, Tom.
It's a very professional call. He gave his name, his age, where he's from, like he was on Wheel of Fortune or something like that. That was great.
Yeah, and the fact that it Maine Cabin Masters. I don't know if I have a favorite episode because it feels like every episode is the same episode. That they come in, it's a cabin that was handed down and it's dilapidated, and they come in and they just spruce it up there. It's not like building off the grid where the weather is coming in. We've got to get that roof on. Can't you just have fun with one of those episodes where you just sort of make fun of the fact that you're making it sound like, I don't know if we're going to get this done. I don't know if we'll get that roof on. Like where you just want to say, no, we're basically BSing you. We're going to get it done. We do get it done. It works out. Somehow it always works out. Although I did see one where this couple was building off the grid and they didn't get done. And then they actually bailed on the project. And I like that. But it's like Guy Fieri, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Every meal is great. I'd love for him to take a bite and go, you got to be kidding me. That's not very good. Because Simon Cowell will say that. Like his honesty is what they were attracted to that. And I said to Guy Fieri, Guy, not every meal can be, a trip to Flavor Town or whatever. Yeah, Paul.
I think that's why people liked Anthony Bourdain a lot, because he would go places and he would try lots of foods. He would say like, you know what? This dish is not for me, but let me tell you, it's the most popular in this country. He would not rip it apart, but he'd say, this is not for me. I'm not eating this again, but I appreciate the history behind it.
But he's going to a restaurant and you're going there with the owners. I understand that, but he just makes it seem like every meal is a great meal. Yes, Todd?
I've got nothing to add to that. Did I look like I was leaning into the microphone?
Yeah.
I've been messing you up lately with that. Usually it's the raising of the hand.
Well, no,
now
I feel bad if I don't call on you because I thought you were leaning in and I was going to call on you.
Then I need to adjust my posture.
Yeah.
Because I was about to just say anything random.
Did you guys know that Andrew saw a great white shark last year?
No way.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yep. I could tell you the whole story.
Why is it you always have something to say, Todd, but if I go to you, then you don't have anything to say?
You put me on the spot. I got very nervous. I was like, in my mind, I was like, I can just say some kind of random thing that may or may not match what you're talking about.
No, because you could
I can just say, I don't have anything to add.
Why don't you have 3 things on a piece of paper before the show?
It may have nothing to do with what you're saying.
Well, no, you could have said, hey, Paul Finebaum checked in.
I could have said that.
No.
I was trying to distract from a 15-minute monologue here about it.
Oh, no. We did that yesterday, and we won't do that.
Because we're walking right back into
No,
one
we're not going to. I got to take a break.
This is going to be the next 15 minutes now.
No,
about
it's
Todd.
not.
Did he raise his hand?
No,
Not
it's
raise
not.
His hand?
No, he leans in.
I did. I've been messing him up with that. I'm leaning in so he thinks that I have something to say.
No, not going to do it.
Go ahead.
No. I got to take a break. Paul Finebaum's going to join us. Not going down this road again. Not this week. Paul Finebaum joins us coming up next year on the Dan Patrick Show.
Fellas, National Day calendar, Sunday, Seton, National Skateboarding Day.
Yo.
Seton, you got to wait on this one. I will give lunch. I'll buy your lunch.
I already have lunch.
I'll buy your dinner.
Oh.
Reasonably priced. Okay. If you can name this famous 80s, 90s skateboarder, known for going very high on a vert ramp.
I can take a guess. 80s and 90s? Oh, actually, no, I don't know. Tony Alma was the first film.
Ooh.
Yeah, but no, I have no idea.
That's a great reference, though. Seton?
My guess, based on the shirt, is going to be Christian Hosoi.
Correct.
Wow.
Not buying you lunch, though, because you know about skateboarding.
Yeah.
Now, it's National Skateboarding Day. I'm going to give you whose career would you want? One guy we spoke about yesterday, one guy is the king, basically, de facto king of skateboarding all the time. Would you rather have the career of Tony Hawk, considered the greatest skateboarder, pioneering skateboarder of all time, or Matt Stafford, a very good NFL quarterback? He is. He's a very good NFL quarterback.
Jeez,
Look,
because
that picture alone is terrifying, by the way.
Right.
My fear of heights.
Doesn't it give your stomach like?
Yeah. My fear of heights.
What if in that moment you're in midair, like, I'm not sure how I'm going to land?
Okay, I have a skateboarding question.
How about anyone want to know about the money?
I'm very curious about that.
Career earnings, Tony Hawk, 140 million for skateboarding, and that's a kind estimate.
That's very conservative.
Yes.
I would say he's triple that.
People think it's more than that because of the video game.
The video game is big.
Matt Stafford's over 100 mil easy as of now.
I wonder which one of them has had more injuries and more surgeries.
I can guarantee you it's Tony Hawk.
But let me ask you a question. Is Hawk the greatest skateboarder or the greatest marketer in skateboarding history? I'm asking skateboarding experts. He's definitely the greatest marketer. There's no doubt about it.
He's the most important skateboarder in history.
He's
Right,
the
but
most
is it because of his
successful,
skills
for sure.
or because of his marketing? Or he came along at the right time?
He's like David Beckham, where the skills are there. He may not have been the greatest skateboarder of all time, but,
It's like he's the first to land a 900 in competition, right? He's got some like legit things that he was the first one to do. So
he made the X Games vibrant.
Is he Shaun White?
Better.
Or is Shaun White Tony Hawk?
Shaun White to snowboarding. Yeah.
I think Shaun White was originally a two-sport. He was a skateboarder.
Yeah, good skateboarder.
Yeah, interesting.
Whose career would you want? Anybody go Matt Stafford?
I'm going to go Matt Stafford.
Okay.
I'm going to go Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tony Hawk for sure.
Tony Hawk.
Oh, definitely Tony Hawk. I mean, he's like the Babe Ruth of the sport, He's the Pele of the sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good talk.
Want to give a shout out to Cabela's. They provided some great gear for us. And Father's Day coming up this weekend, we have been able to go and shop. We had the catalog and picked out some things.
I've been hit. Look at this. I was just about to say how comfortable you're looking. I think I'm bleeding.
Are you okay?
I think I'm bleeding a little bit. No, I'm good. Look at that.
Once again, we'd like to thank Cabela's
Perfect shot. Look how
for
it's
being a great partner
It's supposed to stick to you like that?
and supplying us with some gear here so we can go camping.
Feeling a little lightheaded. He's really. Oh.
Hit him in the.
Got a little left groin region. Look at this.
This is the most action you're going to get.
This is getting dangerous.
Oh, wow.
It's getting a little dangerous.
It's not a bad shot.
I can't believe this is like stuck to me like that. That's wild. It's like right.
Oddly.
Look at that shot. That's amazing. Look at that. What kind of material is this?
Tyler is home.
That's amazing. That's like a perfect shot.
He's a New York Times best-selling author, ESPN commentator, and you can see him on the SEC Network and heard on ESPN Radio, host of the Paul Finebaum Show on Sirius XM. Paul joins us on the program. How would you sum up the week in college football this week, Paul?
It was tumultuous, Dan, with so many different things going on, from the social unrest piece of the puzzle to rising COVID rates in Texas. Anthony Fauci here yesterday pouring a little cold water on the positivity train. It was not a good week.
In particular, Oklahoma State with Mike Gundy, is he talking himself out of trouble or talking himself into even more trouble?
I think Mike Gundy is talking himself into being a commentator on some network fairly soon, because I don't think he can last much longer. I mean, he started the week off in bad shape, and then he kept talking and talking, and I'm not going to quote Shakespeare about protesting too much because he really never made any sense. And he went from wearing a One America News Network T-shirt, which seemed innocuous, even though he has supported it in the past, to then disparaging them after acknowledging that he didn't really understand why his players were so upset. I mean, it was a incalculably bad week for Mike Gundy, and he's he's really well known for one thing, Dan. He gave a memorable speech. I'm 40 and I'm a man. He's 50 now, and he's a buffoon.
If you ran Oklahoma State's athletic program, what would you do?
I would get rid of him, and it's not because of a T-shirt. I know a lot of people on certain political ideologies want to make it into that. I just think he's miscalculated so many times. He's embarrassed himself and the university so many times, and not to get to actual football matters, but he's 2-13 against Oklahoma, Dan. That doesn't work. I mean, I know John Cooper tried that trick at Ohio State about 25 years ago and finally caught up to him. At some point, even though he's got a good record by Oklahoma State standards, which is not very high, I think he needs to go.
Yeah, when you go 7-6, 8-5 the last 2 years, that would put you on thin ice, certainly in that conference there. But I'm waiting to find out if his players are truly accepting of this, because if they are, then that's their world, that's their coach, and I would accept it. From an outsider looking in, if I'm a player, I would not accept that, and I would ask for change if I could at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and I don't really think it's a close call. I mean, sometimes these are very narrow. These are 5-4 decisions. Not to sound like I'm covering the Supreme Court here on the DP show, although I've always wanted to cover the Supreme Court. But I mean, they can do better. I mean, I'd fire him just for the mullet alone, Dan.
You got Ole Miss on the clock now. The SEC is finally like. What is the state of Mississippi? Like, the SEC statement is basically saying to Ole Miss what?
Well, it's interesting. I thought the commissioner was interesting in how he did it. I mean, he went after the state flag, which has the Confederate flag in the corner. He avoided criticizing Ole Miss, whose nickname, don't be shocked here, Dan, the Rebels. That one was not, but here's where I think, I mean, if the commissioner of the SEC or somebody said to the KA fraternity at Ole Miss, you can't have your rebel flag up when you walk in, or your Old South party, which is the biggest night of the year, then I think we're really having a serious conversation. I'm joking about that, but you've been on fraternity row in a million campuses, and you will see a Confederate flag in a lot of them, especially in that one. But I think it was symbolically, it's a good move. I'm not sure what it really means, though, if it's going to have a lot of impact.
Is Ole Miss called Ole Miss? Is Ole Miss on their helmets next season?
If we have a season, probably not.
And I don't know how we play football. I know that everybody keeps saying, hey, football, you got time to figure this out. You got 100 players on these teams, Paul. I mean, if you just do the math, I think it's wishful. I think it's optimism, but I'm not even cautiously optimistic. I'm just cautious with all of this, Paul.
Dan, I've interviewed every commissioner in college football a couple of times now, every athletic director, and they all say we're very hopeful, we're optimistic. It sounds like you're at the Paris peace talks from 50 years ago. We had a very substantive meeting. The bottom line is nobody wants to be the person who says we're not going to have college football. Kirk Herbstreit about 8 weeks ago came out and he said, we're not having college football season, and he hasn't been seen since. I mean, he's been in a bunker, and he's afraid to come out because you don't want to be that guy. I mean, there are people who I've just read, well-known commentators assassinating Anthony Fauci's credibility because he came on and said it's doubtful. I don't know how you do it. I agree with you, and it's not my decision. I'm a commentator and talk show host like you are, but I think it's an incredibly strong, big challenge. And not only are some saying we're going to have it, there's athletic directors in Texas saying we're going to have 50 to 75% capacity in the stands. I mean, that's even more outrageous to consider than even having a season, which you could start a season maybe. I think the challenge is what everyone says, getting to the end of it.
Talking to Paul Finebaum of the Mothership. I was wondering about this, and I proposed this. I don't even know what day it is, but months ago. Can you have the students go back in August and they go to Thanksgiving, and then you could have football start as I know the student's going to want to be there for football, but if you're trying, this is about money. This is all about money, and certainly with the NFL, certainly with baseball. Maybe college is not as heavy-handed, but can I squeeze in a college football season that starts after Thanksgiving and still accomplish? Maybe it's an abbreviated season. What's the likelihood of college football starting later than earlier?
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll college football people will start it whenever they have to start it. They don't care. But the problem with that though is it's about a 15-week season under normal circumstances, and if you start it then, you're really in a more dangerous time of the year for not only COVID, but for the flu.
I know.
That's the peak of the flu season. And I don't want to sound like I know too much about this. I happen to be married to a doctor, so I hear it every night when she looks at me like, "Are you talking about having a college football season on your show?" But I don't know. I mean, the truth is they're going to try. I think I had a person tell me this to show you how crazy it is. I had a person tell me this that some coaches are hoping that all these players will get it. So maybe they won't get it again, and you can have the season. But yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense. It obviously doesn't. But can we trust college coaches to even be honest about these tests once we get to the season? I mean, you talk about getting ready for the Ohio State-Michigan game, the Alabama-Auburn game, the Georgia-Florida game. Are coaches going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, my star player tested positive. I'm going to quarantine him in the offensive line"? College football is ripe with lying and cheating and fraudulence and deception, and I don't think this would be any different.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, and we joked about it, that maybe knowing Saban, hey, everybody gets sick, so then we're ready, and nobody else is ready. A team activity. Come on out. We're gonna everybody go to the lake house. We're going. It's a Corona party in more ways than one. Come on in. It's on me. But yeah,
we're gonna be like Sweden.
I just don't. I want to have college football, but that doesn't mean we're going to have college football. If I said starting on time, the odds of starting on time for all of these conferences is what?
I think some will start on Labor Day weekend, and I know I'm not giving you a namby-pamby answer. I don't think everyone will, and I think that's where the dysfunctionality of the season will begin. The only thing that will stop that is this: that students start arriving back on campus in late August, and the problem just blows up. And college presidents, like the one at Michigan who spoke out a couple of weeks ago, just say, you know what, we can't do it, and then there's a trickle-down effect. But right now, it's just like politics. Nobody wants to speak up in Washington, D.C., and it's the same in college athletics. Nobody wants to be the one that stops and asks the question, what are we doing here? Is this really safe? All they seem to be doing is let's get to the season so we can start cashing those TV network checks.
Paul, great to talk to you. Hope you're well, and thanks for joining us.
Dan, always a pleasure. Be well.
That's Paul Finebaum of the Mothership, New York Times best-selling author, and of course, host of the Paul Finebaum Show on Sirius XM. All right, final hour coming up. The final 3 holes of the match yesterday between Mario and Tyler, the moderator. A shower of shame hanging in the balance at the end of the show. Mark Cuban will join us. I haven't even looked to see what's on the Traeger. We're going to try to squeeze all of that in the final hour of the program. The lineup includes Seton, Paulie, Fritzy, McLovin, yours truly, the boys in the back. Final hour coming up. Can you fix cars?
Yeah. I used to work in a dealership.
Well, you worked didn't you change
that's a big
oil?
requirement when you have a job at a dealership is to be able to fix cars.
But you changed oil.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
I did every job. Actually, I started changing oil. I worked on I ended up getting promoted to assistant engine guy. So the head engine guy is this older fella, a lot of experience. And I would, if he got a tranny job or a engine job, I would pull the transmission and pull the motor, and he'd put the new one back in. So I had a lot of jobs around there before I eventually was let go.
Did they know what would your name tag say, Junior?
Dale Jr.
Oh,
Yeah.
But did they know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dad owned the dealership.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did they ever ask for autograph when they were changing oil?
No,
nothing
well,
like
Dad
that.
would come around, and he would be there. And I worked there for like 3 or 4 years. My brother was working there as a service writer. He was a mechanic and then got promoted to service writing. And one day, we got a new service manager, and the guy was like, "We're going to stay after, and we're going to have this meeting. I'm going to change the service department and fix it." And I was like, "Well, I'm not staying if we can't stay on the clock." So he said, "Do whatever you think's right." So I went home because he wasn't going to let us stay on the clock. And so I came back the next day, and he goes, "I think you need to take a couple days off and see if this job really matters to you." And so, long story short, I ended up getting fired from the dealership.
From your dad's dealership.
Yeah. So that was the end of my.
Was Dad okay with you getting fired?
I called. I was broke. I didn't have a lot of money, and it was a 45-minute commute to the dealership and then back. And I called Dad. And I said, "This guy's sending me home to think about my job for a couple of days and see if I'm really serious about it. I don't want to drive all the way home, and then you say get your butt back to work." And nobody's going to front the bill on the gas this is going to take. So he said, "No, come on, actually go in there and tell the guy that you're working or not working." And so I went back in there, didn't tell him I called my dad, and I said, "Listen, I'm going to work or I'm not." And he said, "Find somebody to help you load your toolbox up. You're out of here." So that was the end of that job.
Okay, but were you driving competitively?
No, I wasn't. I just graduated high school or college. I got an automotive degree at a technical school near home, and so I'd only been out of school for a couple.
Well, what if they had kept you employed and actually, gave you a promotion, like assistant manager? Would you have delayed your driving career?
Hopefully not. I mean, the racing was happening. I was starting to late model race.
You see, this is better for the story. If
yeah.
you get fired, and because of that, I decided to become a race car driver.
Well, I ended up getting fired and drove home. And Dad was surprised. He was like, "I can't believe that guy fired you. He really fired you?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Wow. Okay, well, I'll put you to work working on your sister's late model." My sister raced, and I said, "That's awesome." And I got a raise. I was making about $180 at the dealership. I ended up starting at Dad's place around $300 a week.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
You're killing it.
I know, and I live right across the street. So I'm working on race cars. It was a great move for me.
See, that's the next book. Take your tools and go home. The Dale Earnhardt Jr. story. Father's Day can be tough, but I've got a couple of tips for you to make it go a little smoother. It's really important to get your kids to do things for you.
That's everything on the list. We're packed up. Let's go.
Hey, hold on, guys. This is Dan. Hey, man.
You know what I'm thinking? Maybe we could use a canoe.
I don't know that we're going to have the room.
Little busy, but you guys will figure it out. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon. All right. And look, it's perfectly fine to make last-minute additions. Celebrate Father's Day by shopping in-store or online to make sure you find the perfect gift for Dad. Buckle up, boys. Time to go to work.
Welcome to the Dan Patrick Show, hosted by Dan Patrick and joined by the four Danettes.
Unnecessarily confrontational. That's just the best phrase I can use.
Each a critical component to the success of the show.
Todd wasn't doing anything.
And the slow, steady breakdown of Todd Fritz.
I've got like documented emails and texts and responses that are like, where did that come from? All I'm saying is, how about so-and-so for Thursday? And then it becomes, what?
Bringing you the best guests from athletes and entertainers.
What happened to Ice Cube? He was supposed to join us today.
To doctors.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases.
Maybe we should consider a therapist.
How I'm communicated with is very different.
And now, broadcasting from the excuse me. Todd, could you grab me some water?
You have got to be kidding.
Final hour.
This is Dan Patrick.
Final hour on this Friday. Dan and the Danettes, Dan Patrick Show. Mark Cuban will join us on loan from the Dallas Mavericks. Phone calls are welcome. In about 20 minutes from now, the final 3 holes of the match between Mario and Tyler, the moderator, and the loser of that match from yesterday will get a shower of shame. We have water balloons that are ready, and we will pelt the loser. Nobody knows. The Danettes don't know. I know the final results there, but not going to tip my hand at all. I will say that I would not want to go through that again. It was everything that you thought it would be and then some, except for good golf. There was tension. There was controversy. There was some bad blood. There was gamesmanship, lack of sportsmanship, and a whole lot of bad golf. And there will be water balloons coming up. That'll be a firing squad for the loser in the final hour of the program. 877-3DP-SHOW, email address dp@danpatrick.com. Remember when football had time on its side? Suddenly it doesn't feel like football has as much time on its side as you would think. You know, in May we went, football's got a lot of time to figure this out. You know, they're going to be able to glean from the other leagues what they're doing, what they did, what they didn't do. College football, hey, going ahead. Hey, we may have 20,000 fans instead of 80 or 90,000 fans. Now we're in late June. Now all of a sudden, college football starting to look at the reality of this. The number of COVID cases in other states that didn't have hot spots back in May, and suddenly they have them now here in June. What's going to happen in July? Preseason football is in 6 weeks from now. Getting students on campus, players testing positive here. Suddenly, football doesn't have as much time on its side as we thought. And Dr. Fauci, who heads up the CDC, said yesterday he has his doubts about football playing this season. But he's not aligned with any league. We had the chief medical officer from the NFL, Dr. Sills, who joined us. And, of course, he's aligned with the league. I thought he was coming on and made available just so he could say, hey, don't worry about this. Dr. Fauci has nothing to do with the NFL. Ezekiel Elliott tests positive. All of a sudden, the NFL makes their chief medical officer available. 12 minutes before surgery, he comes on the show. And while I appreciated his availability and he came on and he was a good guest, I have to look at the ulterior motive, and that was basically, we got some smoke here, guys. We got some smoke. We can't let anybody think that we got fires. Here is Sean McVay, the Rams head coach. I don't know exactly what he's saying, but I did enjoy how he said it.
We're talking about some of this stuff, and we're playing football. I mean, we're going to social distance, but we play football. This is really hard for me to understand all this. I don't want to be – I don't get it.
He's got a great point there. He does. I don't know if he's saying – what are we doing playing football or this social distancing? But we're still trying to figure that out. Yes.
Yeah, what is the great point that he's making there?
I think yes, Paul.
He was kind of agreeing with before that, he's kind of talking about what Harbaugh said last week. He goes, it's kind of silly to have a social distancing policy during the offensive line meeting. The offensive linemen have to be 15 feet away from each other during the OL meeting, and then an hour later they go into a practice where they're beating the hell out of each other. He goes, one doesn't match the other. And that, I think, is a summary of what he's saying.
I think, and that's what I was trying to take from this, is he saying something in a positive way or in a negative way? Should we be playing football? And as it is right now, I don't know how you play football. I just don't. You know, baseball, let me move on to something else. NBA. The NBA is trying to figure this out, but they're in a bubble, and you don't have as many players. And while there is physicality there, I don't have to worry about as many people. You look at a pro football team, just the number of people you're going to come in contact with. I don't know how you're able to practice social distancing, safe distancing, and still play the game of football. Just don't. Maybe something happens here, but I'm going to be surprised if the NFL starts on time. And I'm sure I'm in the minority on this, but I don't know how the NFL starts on time. And as a result, you're going to have some college football games that are going to be canceled. Yeah, Todd.
Does any higher-ups in the NFL, if Coach McVay was meaning like, let's, if we're playing football, let's not pretend that we're going to be able to protect these guys. Something could happen, and I don't care how long your book is of protocol. Does he get a talking to from Roger Goodell or any higher-ups in the NFL? Let's not make these kind of public comments, whether you're tongue-in-cheek or not.
Well, he's got to follow the rules. I don't know if somebody reaches out to him and says, hey, can we keep it in-house here? I mean, that's what I would say. If I'm the commissioner, I would say to Sean McVay, Sean, voice the concerns to me or to your superior, and then we can collect all of this data. But let's not go, off the cuff here, off script. Because I still believe that Dr. Sills was made available because he wanted to calm fears about the NFL. And Ezekiel Elliott testing positive, that's why everybody took note. We don't know who the other players are, but Ezekiel Elliott tested positive. Then all of a sudden, the reality hits you of what would happen if Patrick Mahomes tests positive on a Thursday before a Sunday game? He's gone for at least 2 games, maybe 3 games. Rudy Gobert shut down an entire league, and as a result, shut down all of sports by testing positive. People have this feeling of, hey, we made it through the first wave. Well, in certain places, certain cities, certain states, you may have made it through the first wave. That doesn't mean that the second wave is not going to be even larger here. If there is a second wave, I don't feel like we've gotten through the first wave at all. Yes, Eden.
Yeah, some states just hit their highest average total yesterday.
That's their first wave. Like New York is easing up the restrictions. That doesn't mean they don't get hit with what would be a second wave here. And now students going back. I have a daughter who will be going to school for her senior year. When she goes, we're still trying to sort all of this out. This isn't just about sports. It's about, I asked Dr. Fauci, if you had a child, would you be sending your child to school? And he said, it depends on the area and the hot spots. If it didn't get you, it feels like it's going to get you. We were hit hard here in the New York, Connecticut area, New Jersey area, hard. L.A. got hit. And then I had friends who were in different states who said, hey, we don't have anything here. And a friend, who lives in Texas said, hey, you guys, it feels like there's an overreaction. And I said, it's eventually going to come your way. It just is. Now, to what degree? And what the knowledge we have and safety precautions, testing, all of those things, we're far more down the road as far as at least understanding what we have and the preventative measures. But as Dr. Fauci said, wear a mask. That's all. If not for you, for other people, wear a mask. And maybe that helps us in the next 2 months. But football's on the clock a lot more than we thought a month ago. 6 weeks ago. Preseason football is in 6 weeks. Games. Can't imagine it happening. You're going to have practice in a month. Can't imagine it happening. Everybody's going to be watching what's happening with the NBA. But, that's a bubble. NFL can't do a bubble. Dr. Fauci talked about a bubble. You can't do a bubble. Where are you going to do it? Too many players, too many teams, too many people who work with the team, cover the team. Can't do it. Yeah, Todd.
And if people start testing positive within the NBA bubble, that's just going to exacerbate fears and concerns even more for an NFL that's ready to go without any type of bubble.
Maybe someday they're going to come up with a special set of baseball cards to commemorate the sport during the pandemic, because this is like a rogues gallery. You know, you start with the commissioner, Rob Manfred. You put stats on the back, 100% guaranteeing the sport was coming back. His pandemic stats would, start with that. Said the sport was coming back, 100% guaranteed. Followed by the statement that he's not sure if the sport is coming back. Players Association, Tony Clark. Numbers on the back of his card would probably be the shrinking number of games. Remember, they demanded 114, then it was 80, now down to 70. I don't know if he goes any lower here. Scott Boras would have his own card, super agent. His stats would include the 15 players that he represents who make over $25 million a year. And don't forget Blake Snell, first player to really come out and ask why he would be playing for less money and what he was risking. I could go on and on and on. And here we are with baseball, and it doesn't feel like we're any closer. I feel like there's going to be baseball. I do. I just don't know what's going to happen here on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So when I come in on Monday, do we have something that is illuminating? Do we have another offer to reject? That's all it feels like. You know, when you swat flies, like, oh, there's another one. That's what it feels like Major League Baseball is doing. They're just swatting flies here. Hey, how about this? Swat. How about this? Swat. They're playing us. They're playing us. There's only a certain number of games that the owners are going to agree to. And I don't think it's anywhere near over 60 games. It's probably closer to right at 50. I really sincerely feel that this is what owners are doing. Certain number of owners don't want to have the season come back. So start with that. If 6 to 8 owners don't want this to happen, that's where the commissioner, who works for these owners, has to say, all right, I'm going to put you on the hook for 50 games, and out of those 50, 25 are going to be at home, 25 on the road, so you're going to lose the revenue from 25 home games with no fans. But if we have a postseason, everybody shares in the postseason money, and you don't have to pay the players what you thought you were going to have to pay this year. So I can reduce the amount of money you're going to lose. Now, they may make money. I'm guessing somebody's going to make money here, but not everybody is going to be in that same situation. That's what I think is happening with Major League Baseball. They know when they're going to start, the number of games that are going to be played, and when the season will end. That's it. I haven't budged off of it, and until I see something different between these two sides, I did say to the commissioner, at least on the show, go, be in a room with Tony Clark, the head of the Players Association. He did that. He flew to Arizona, got into a room. Nothing was solved. But that, to me, felt like it was symbolic. Hey, I'm giving you the appearance. We're doing everything we can do, because the commissioner flew to Tony Clark, the head of the Players Association. Oh, the owners are trying. Yeah, Paul.
Could you see if it goes down to 50 games after all this frustration, the hardcore baseball fans, like some famous person or some hardcore baseball fan group gets on social media and organizes a boycott in person of the regular season where, okay, you're going to do 50, we're not showing up for your 50 games. And you get a large group of people on social media to follow and join in and take a team that gets 20,000 a game, and now they're getting 6 because a group of hardcore baseball fans says, no, we're not going to participate. You decide you're not going to play, we won't show up. And they'll show up for the postseason, because then it's important. But I could see that happening with how social media works now. You could organize that kind of boycott with a couple clicks.
Because if you're a hardcore baseball fan, then you'll be back.
You can watch on TV. You could watch the Cubs, but you're not getting my money in person and my $100 because it's the ticket and the parking.
We always wait for people to organize when it comes to any kind of protest with sports, and it never happens. And it's like, why do these municipalities pay for stadiums? Why can teams leave a city? It absolutely stuns me when you think of taxpayers paying for stadiums, and then that team can up and leave if they want. Hey, I want a new stadium. Well, you don't get one without them taking my team. Any language that fan base, taxpayers are paying for a stadium, then the language has to be, you can't leave. You can't leave. And if you don't like it, then leave, because you don't have the positive motive here. There's not an altruistic feel to this that we're in it together. Like Lambeau, they're in it together. That's a business together. And these owners, when they go, I'm thinking about, I didn't get my stadium. Stan Kroenke, I didn't get my stadium. I'm leaving here. Yeah, Tom.
And a lot of those same taxpayers that are forced to help build the stadium can't afford to actually go to a game with their family because it's just too expensive.
We'll talk to Mark Cuban. He'll join us. We'll get to your phone calls. Coming up during the commercial break, the final 3 holes of, we called it the mismatch, the PGA UAA. And might have been betting on the side here, but it was Tyler the moderator versus Mario. And we have a shower of shame coming up in about 30 minutes from now. So we'll take a break. Mark Cuban of the Mavs will join us coming up next, approaching 16 after the hour here on the Dan Patrick Show. Simply Safe Home Security, it says it all right there in the name. Simple because it's simple for you to set up. Safe, 24/7 protection. They haven't raised their rates since we've been partners with them, and that's going on at least a decade now. Going to cost you 50 cents a day. There's no contracts to sign. Ask anybody who has a home security system and what their contract's like, because they'll have a contract. Simply Safe, there's no contract. They're in it with you every single day. Simply Safe was named the best overall home security of 2020 by U.S. News & World Report. 24/7 professional monitoring, emergency dispatch starts at 50 cents a day. All you do, order online, click of a button, open the box, put the sensors in, plug it in, and your home is protected around the clock. I said it's simple because you do it. You don't need a technician. There's nobody there. It comes right to your door. Stop paying outrageous monthly fees. SimpliSafe.com/Dan. Free shipping, 60-day money-back guarantee. SimpliSafe.com/Dan. Make sure that they know we sent you.
All right, we have Mario at the 8th hole. He's down by 3. It's going to have to take a miracle for him to pull off this win against Tyler, the moderator. I have no confidence in him.
Having a decent hole until I just plopped it into the water. Fell apart here on that back.
The back
of the
6?
9.
The back 6.
I started off very strong, but
Hey everybody, we just finished up the mismatch. The victor, Tyler.
Feels good, man. First
couple of two I screwed up because of the pressure, obviously. Not used to being on camera. And then I got it together once DP kind of kicked me into gear and ended up with the victor for Chat Row. I do it for Chat Row, always for Chat Row.
Wait, we're on TV every day. What do you mean?
True. I don't have a voice other than my buddies in Chat Row.
All right. So, Mario, first the air ball, and now this loss. Where do you go from here?
I'm just going to pick it up, and if anybody else wants to challenge me, I'll take challenges. We could just turn this into like the Second Mario Invitational. Let's keep rolling.
I don't think that's a good idea. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. That was terrible.
Oh, man.
Good job.
That was great.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. Wow. Congrats. Marvin, on course, you got a future there, I think. You were killing it.
Very smooth.
Rob put it all together. He didn't sleep last night. He put it all together. So
Awesome.
my thanks to Rob.
Yeah, man.
Tyler, congratulations. And suck it, Mario. It was bad. There's some bad golf there. You put up 2 12s. 1 12 and a 10. Okay.
Okay.
Apologies.
Yeah. All right. So you had a 12 on one hole, and then you had a 10.
I had a 10 on.
Okay.
I was under the impression that we were capping these.
Oh, okay. So true story. Going up the par 3 third, and he's lying 8 or 9. He goes, "Are we capping how much we can have on each hole?" And I go, "No, it doesn't work that way."
It's a fair question.
Not in
my
the
defense.
not in the
It's a
moment.
question you shouldn't
It
be
didn't work
asking.
that way for Mario.
All right, shower of shame coming up with water balloons. Oh, well, it's over. 9-hole match. It was won by Tyler, the moderator. Tyler, the moderator, congratulations. We have shower of shame coming up for Mario and Tyler representing Chat Row. This program brought to you by Mercedes-AMG. Be prepared for whatever comes your way. The all-new GT 4-door coupe. Life's a race. Visit your local dealership for a test drive today. If you miss any interviews from the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave, go to the DP Show app. Watch and listen from inside the Mercedes-AMG Man Cave. Mercedes-AMG, driving performance. So a little bit of controversy there. Some questionable scoring and some sportsmanship or lack thereof between the two. But they did it. They made it through. 9 holes. So shower of shame coming up. Yes, Paul.
I may have had the worst day of all yesterday. When we were talking and back before the golf, I said to the house bookie, Dylan, the graphics guy, I go, I would like to bet, what's the max I could bet on Tyler to win? He goes, I go, how about 1,000? He goes, I would take that bet. And I bailed. I was going to bet 1,000 on Tyler.
Yeah. After watching, no, I there's no way I could put any money on either one of those guys. Because while you're watching, like it was a roller coaster ride. Yeah, McLevin.
Paulie's like the Floyd Mayweather bets he was about to make.
Oh, but I didn't make it, so I
yeah. Floyd wins every one of his bets, right? After the fact, he wins every one of them. Now, he does show the tickets, right?
I'm frustrated because I bet on Mario, and that was a mistake. But I'm curious about some scoring.
Are you accusing somebody of something?
Well, Tyler was, I think, somewhere his ball was about 100 yards behind a cart at 8 on the second hole, and he ended up marking down an 8.
Okay. But you're accusing Tyler of cheating?
Yes.
Wow. That's a bombshell.
Well, I'm accusing everyone and saying, we got to move on because we have a tight filming schedule. Let's just put down 8.
Well, that could be true. But I know that the boys found out they were introduced to a new word, fescue. And they were hitting balls into the fescue. And at one point, it looked like Mario was taking out a sickle to clear out the brush there so he could hit his ball. And I think he whiffed a couple of times in the fescue. Yeah, McLevin.
It looked like Mario was two different golfers in the first segment at 9:20,
Yeah.
and then 11. Did he get tired, nervous?
I think his real talent kind of came to the surface there. And Tyler settled down after a few beers, and he had a dip. Yes.
Yeah, once he broke out the Bud Light seltzers
I
or whatever,
know.
he really settled into a nice groove.
I said, come on, a Bud Light seltzer? And he said, oh, yeah, I need it. After the first hole, I heard him crack a beer. I'm surprised he didn't have Zima there. All right, so that's coming up on this Meat Friday. And let me see. The Traeger Father's Day sale. By the way, now through June 21st, get $100 off select wood-fired grills during Traeger's biggest sale of the year by contacting your local dealer or visiting TraegerGrills.com/DP show. I see Mark Cuban. Can I hear Mark Cuban? Moments away. We're still trying to get the audio there. He is ready now. Mark?
What's up, Dan?
Hi, bud.
How are you doing?
I'm good. What have you been doing at home?
A lot of the same. Watching my kids run my life and trying to pretend I'm still in charge with my wife. You know, the usual.
Do your kids think you're cool?
No, absolutely not. No.
Well, wait. You own the Mavericks. You seem to have some money. That's not impressive to your kids. Shark Tank? Come on.
No, they think they're cool, but they don't think I'm cool at all.
I love the story. I know you've talked about this before of flirting with running for the presidency, but you have to take inventory with your family.
Of course.
So, first of all, was it real that you were considering a run in 2012?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if your family voted for you to run for the presidency, would you have done it?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so take me at dinner when you. So I'm assuming it's dinner, and then everybody gets a vote.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was one of those things like, okay, my wife and my oldest daughter are like, no, we've heard it. We hear everybody's asking us. Don't even think about it. And I'm like, can we at least take a vote? And everybody was no, except for my 10-year-old son. He was on the fence. He's like, but I think it would be cool to have Secret Service.
Okay.
And his sisters are like, no.
Well, that's a big commitment there. But I was wondering about that. It wasn't an anonymous poll. Like they're putting their hands up.
No, everybody.
You needed a lobbyist on your side, Mark.
Yeah. Well, consider they all voted no. It wouldn't matter if it was anonymous or not.
Help me out with this bubble here of understanding exactly what we're up against, because I have issues with it, but I'm called Danny Downer here. Like the NFL and college football, everybody just assumes, well, it's the NFL and college football. We're going to play football. I don't know. I don't know if we have a Rudy Gobert moment, and then what happens here, Mark?
I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's no question about it. But every day we learn a little bit more. It all comes down to the science and trying to do whatever we can to keep everybody safe. I think if you look at your own home or what you're doing there, when you have a controlled environment, you feel safer. And as long as, people adhere to the program, we hope we should be okay. It's when you get the aberrational scenarios that we can't anticipate that I think creates some risk. But, as long as everybody's on board, I think we can pull it off.
Are you going to be there?
I will be there at least part of the time. We're shooting Shark Tank. We're finally opening up, allowed to shoot Shark Tank. So we're trying to squeeze it all in. I tried to get the mothership to allow us to shoot Shark Tank since it's an ABC show at Walt Disney World, but we haven't been able to pull that off yet.
We're talking to Mark Cuban. He's the Mavs owner. I saw a stat. I don't know if you even know this. The best winning percentage for an NBA team since 2001 is San Antonio.
Yep.
Second
and
best.
We're second.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I knew that.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, up until the last few years, we were pretty good, but having a big, tall German guy certainly helped quite a bit. And so, yeah, I mean, I screwed up some things letting Nash go, but overall, I mean, it wasn't a bad run.
Didn't I give you grief about getting rid of Nash back when you got rid of Nash?
Everybody gave me grief. Deservedly so.
I at least do it to your face, Mark. I don't, these writers.
I got so much. Oh, forget it. Yeah.
If you, and we've talked about this before when you were interested in buying a baseball team, but if you looked at this as a businessman, what's going on in baseball? If I had you have the commissioner and the head of the Players Association, and you're the arbitrator, how could you bring baseball back that made the most sense? And we're just talking financially because I don't know health-wise how we're going to be, but financially, how would you do it?
It certainly from the outside appears to be a matter of trust. And I can understand why they don't trust them. Look at my experiences with them. It was very much, particularly under Bud Selig, it was autocratic. It was, his way or the highway, and, he'd give or take draft picks away. And so when somebody's in, when a business is run that way, and I don't know, if the current folks are doing it the same way, but when a business is run that way, it's really hard to trust. And the only thing really you can do is open the kimono and put all your economic information on the table and let them see exactly what's going on. And that's just not how baseball operates.
Adam Silver, though, has that trust on both sides. It appears that way. Do you think that he has that true trust on both sides?
Yeah, he's very collaborative. He's a great listener. He understands what the bigger picture is, not only just for the NBA, but also for our players and for the sport of basketball globally, and I think he takes on that responsibility. But Adam is not set in his ways. It's not, this is my way or the highway. He's very open to suggestions, no matter where they come from.
By the way, who would have been your running mate if you were running for the presidency?
You available?
No. You don't want that.
I hadn't gotten that far.
Yeah.
I had not gotten that far.
You got that far. In your
no,
binder.
I really didn't.
No?
You gotta win the game first. You gotta get in the game first before
you'd have to wear a suit and tie every day. You couldn't do
that.
No.
That would be the first thing I changed.
Sweatsuit?
Why not? Velour tracksuit. Can you imagine the State of the Union?
Commander in sweatsuit, Mark Cuban.
Why not?
The protest, or at least kneeling before the anthem. I don't know if your team has talked about this. You got other things to worry about, but is there any policy that you have as the owner of the Mavs or the NBA has that would prevent this from happening?
Well, the NBA's got a policy that you're supposed to stand and face the flag during the national anthem. But, like we were just talking, Adam is very collaborative and open-minded. And, this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for us to really impact American society and change how minorities and African Americans in particular are treated. And so I don't think you stand on legacy items, when you have such an amazing opportunity. And, I haven't had the discussion with our players about this, but, this is their league. They drive this league 100%. And, I'm going to be very supportive because, again, when the pandemic first hit and we closed down basketball the night we were playing, that was bigger than the NBA. That was the health and safety, of everybody. Now this is bigger than the NBA as well. And so we have, the players have a platform to get to really show what's important to them and hopefully have an impact on race relations in this country. And so, again, that's far more important than, some rules that were established in the 80s that may not be relevant today.
I wanted to quote you correctly. Are you planning on kneeling?
I don't know if I'll be allowed to be down by the floor, but if I can show, act in unison and show support for our players, I'll certainly will.
What do you make of Kyrie Irving's comments here, Mark?
I don't know. You have to ask Kyrie on that. I'm sure he's got his logic. I don't know Kyrie at all. I haven't spoken to him.
When you realized that your star player was out of shape, did you place a phone call to your star player?
Oh, no, I knew Luka was working out. That stuff about him being out of shape, yeah, because Luka and I text all the time, and he's really proud to show me his workout pictures. Really proud. And if Luka's lifting weights, he's taking pictures. Trust me.
And So when you get selfies, and your wife said, "Oh, what do you got?" "Oh, it's a selfie, and it's actually from one of your players." Like, hey, I got somebody with their shirt off. Oh, no, it's Luka.
No, there are no "what are you wearing" selfies.
But how did it come out that he was not in shape?
I think that was a mistranslation from one of his coaches who was trying to make the point that he's not in game shape yet, but he's in good shape.
That's good. Hey, it's great. What do you have behind you? You got one thing that's hanging and then one thing it's not.
Oh, this is my little Shark Tank poster, so I always get to pitch, right? So you always selling. And
Okay.
that's an old broadcast.com thing that's been up there for a long time.
Other than the trophy, what would impress me the most about your memorabilia?
Probably when I first bought the Mavs in the first All-Star game I went to, Julius Erving was my hero growing up in Pittsburgh when I was a little kid. I mean, I literally went to the filming of The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh just to see Julius Erving from a distance. So one of my favorite pictures is a picture of me standing away from Julius Erving and one of my friends taking a picture. So it looks like I'm almost talking to Julius Erving. So that's my classic.
You've since spoken to Dr. J.
Yeah,
Did you tell him about that?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, certainly did.
The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh?
Yes.
That was not a good movie.
They filmed it at the Civic Arena when I was a kid. And I took the 41B bus down to downtown Pittsburgh. And I snuck in through the back door. And I wasn't an extra. I didn't sign up. But I was watching in the wings while they were filming it. I'm just so excited.
That's great. Hey, it's great to talk to you. And hopefully we get this season started. But I do think football is got some question marks here. At least you guys got a head start with this bubble.
Well, we'll find out. We'll take the Hotel California approach, and you check in and you don't leave until you're eliminated. But everybody's learning every day. And we'll see what happens. Because the other thing, Dan, I'll mention real quick. This isn't just about the NBA. If we can't pull this off, what are college basketball and high school basketball and middle school basketball going to do? And we are going to be the template for them in a lot of respects on the things we learn and what we can communicate to everybody downstream. So again, this is another situation where it's bigger than just the NBA, and it's bigger than just basketball.
But do you think that, the teams that worked hard to get a home court advantage won't have a home court advantage? Were you in favor of giving these teams anything?
I don't know how we could do that. And again, that really wasn't even a topic of conversation. At least any of the conversations that I was in, it was more about the bigger picture. How can we do this safely? And again,
what if the Mavs had the number one seed?
What's that?
What if the Mavs had the number one seed?
I'd be like, we got to play all the games in Dallas.
Well, I did wonder this, Mark, and I don't know, could we have gotten to the point where the Eastern Conference and Western Conference teams played each other? Or maybe just the finals played each other, and then so they were traveling there instead of staying in Orlando in this bubble.
We have to listen to the scientists who tell us what to do and how to do it best. The one thing we can't compromise on is doing our best to keep everybody safe. And so, the more you travel, the more people involved, the more locations involved, the more difficult it is. So I think we came up with the right approach, and we'll learn, and then we'll just cross our fingers and hope that we get a vaccine. So by the time next season rolls along, we'll have, more ammunition to try to deal with this.
Will there be an asterisk attached to this season?
No more than 1999. Everybody said 1999, there'd always be an asterisk, and, no one remembers.
I said that to people. I go, when the Spurs won the title, there was nobody brings that up at all. And they go, wait, what happened?
Or even the year, 2012, when there was a 66-game post-lockout season.
Yeah.
Right? No one brought that up, and that was a big deal because you were playing back-to-back games to get 66 games stuck into a season. And so that was even more difficult. And so, no, people don't look at that. People just look at the rings on your finger.
Once again, he let Steve Nash get away. He's
that's only 16 years ago. 16 years ago.
Do you think Nash has moved on from it? He's
no.
Okay.
Every time I see him, he gives me that look. He won't say it, but he gives me that look. We kind of put it behind us. We went out and had a couple of drinks one day, and I think we got past it.
But Phoenix had Kidd, KJ, and Nash on the roster at the same time, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Can't imagine what practice must have been like for those guys.
Yeah, a lot of passing.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Good luck with Shark Tank as always, and be safe. Thank you, Mark. We'll take a break. We got our last call here. We got our Shower of Shame coming up, the Meet Friday, and last call for phone calls coming up here. Dan Patrick Show.
somebody like Gruden. I don't know what is Gruden. I'll tell you what, man.
But Gruden's from the Midwest.
Yeah, right.
He went to
Sandusky,
Dayton,
Ohio.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that story before when I met him? I'm like, when I first met him, everybody wanted to see, was this going to go well? So if I could do it again, right? They're like, how's this going to happen?
So you're at the mothership and you meet Gruden.
And Schlereth is sitting there with a cup of coffee going, I wonder what's going to happen. So Gruden's like, so you're the guy who does me, huh? He's like, where are you from? I looked up where he was from. I'm like, Sandusky, Ohio. He's like, really? I'm like, no. He's like, good, because you were blowing my mind, man. The great thing is now that I've become kind of, I think we're friends. I don't know if he's mocking me or what, but I'll get texts from him at like 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, he's a really early morning riser.
5:30 is like lunchtime for him. So he's like, all right, look, the 10 hours of videotape, man. You're not going to believe what Jay Gruden's doing.
Paulie does. Could you judge Paulie's Gruden?
Yeah.
All right.
That guy's just playing football.
Sounds like Paulie.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm doing it to you. No, but I don't have any of the mannerisms.
Yeah, the face cheats it a lot. If you can do something with the face, look in the eyes, that helps.
Okay, congratulations to Tony in New York. The numbers are 92-23, as you see. Clue for 92, he's the real deal after all. He's the real deal after all because Evander, the real deal Holyfield, on this date in 1992, therefore the 92, Holyfield beats Larry Holmes in 12 rounds for the heavyweight title. 23, that's LeBron James's number. Why 23? You may have heard it earlier in the show. On this date in 2016, 4 years ago today, the Cavs win their first NBA title, beating the Warriors 93-89, knocked off the defending champs, 4-3 series victory. First team to be down 3-1, win the next three. LeBron James for 23, Holyfield, 1992, taking out Larry Holmes.
Oh my God, look at the size of these
now. So we're going to stay out here to start the segment, right?
Yeah.
Good times.
You start the segment, then walk back in.
Yeah, we got the water balloons over there.
Yep.
If you want to, Dan, I could stay inside in case you need a buffer when you're running in. Whatever you think.
This is unbelievable.
Giants.
Chicken.
It's like a little curry. Just a little curry taste there.
It's amazing to me that you could do this on a Traeger. Just like that.
Tastes pretty good. I should probably try it.
I made chicken thighs the other day, man. They were nuts. Nuts.
Seaton's camera shy today. He's bellied up to the bar.
Yeah.
It's where you don't want somebody to see you.
No, you know what? It was more about I just needed to get two hands in there, and I wanted my plate. Yeah. That was serious.
That's where you don't want somebody to see you.
You gotta prioritize the eating.
It's not really good first date food. Unless. I'm gonna try one of. Are these different?
Well,
all the same.
Yeah.
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 Oh, man.
It's good.
Where are the combatants in
That's
the?
serious.
I don't know if Tyler's in there taking a victory lap.
He should be. He earned it.
But did he?
Ooh.
A lot of debate. A lot of debate.
This must sound really good.
I was wondering that.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's like when I would say to Todd when he'd have soup. How's the soup? It sounds good.
Sitting on top of making slurping sounds.
I know.
Always
How much
appetizing.
time before we pound?
30?
Ooh, 30 seconds here, boys.
Get ready.
Let's get over here and get Mario against the wall.
Cover one hand like a soccer player, one hand around face.
I thought we had a
You got it.
Yes, we.
Does he have you standing against that wall or that wall? You got to be against the wall there, Mario. By the way, man cave. Mario lost the golf match yesterday to Tyler, the moderator. Tyler, you get to throw too. Yeah, you get to throw the first one. I thought we were going to do a blindfold for Mario.
Look at Tyler. He's just.
He whited out to make it sharp.
Oh, I know.
Okay. I'm going to hit you right in the
Oh!
Oh, no. Couple in the cheek.
Why is this so funny?
Give me Are you guys? You guys?
no!
You guys aren't throwing.
One of them had some, like, great
I like how he's trying to dodge them.
Oh! Now it's getting dangerous. Let's get a little dangerous.
That might be one of our better showers of
No,
shit.
dude. Let's not blind the guy.
The milk ones were
You're a good
really
sport, man.
good.
You're a good sport, buddy.
Surprise Hawaiian punch ones as well.
Good stuff, man.
We have fun around here. All right.
Definitely some face shots.
Oh.
Yikes.
All righty. We got Mario with the shower of shame. So if you were, I don't know what it sounded like on the show, but we peppered him pretty well. And Tyler got to throw a couple of water balloons there. How did that sound?
Oh, you could hear the splashing like crazy.
Great.
Water balloons aren't that bad to get hit with until some of them have like milk and barbecue sauce in them.
No, we didn't have barbecue
Oh, okay.
sauce. We had milk and juice and then water there. But Mario did a great thing. He was good soldier there. The Traeger Father's Day sale is on through June 21st. Get $100 off select wood-fired grills during Traeger's biggest sale of the year. Contact your local dealer or visit TraegerGrills.com/DP show. Man, that food is good. We just brought, I don't know what those drumsticks that we just had on the Traeger.
Chicken tikka drumsticks.
Chicken tikka. Nice. All right, this day in sports history, Paul.
Dan, there's a few. 1846, the New York Knickerbocker Club played the New York Club, that's what it's called, in the first baseball game in Hoboken, New Jersey, as the first organized baseball game. Let's see. The NFL approved the merger of the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1943. I guess they were called the Steagles. I always thought this was a joke, but that really happened. University of Maryland star Len Bias died of a cocaine-induced seizure in 1986. And in 73, Dan, for you, Pete Rose of the Reds got his 2000th career hit.
Thank you, Paul. That's this day in sports history. Gibbs in Virginia is back. Hi, Gibbs. What do you have for me?
Dan, what's going on? Great shows this week. Well, I should be called not exactly Atticus Finch in Virginia Beach from now on. Thank you, McLovin. The load of guff I got from my friends and family couldn't fit in a 10-gallon bucket right now. So thank you. But again, my call was about...
Gibbs is a lawyer for a construction company, and McLovin called him out and said, not exactly Atticus Finch.
The lawyer from To Kill a Mockingbird,
yeah.
And Dan, my call was to express to the audience that your pull and influence in the collegiate realm and helping me get into law school, not to express my career choices to McLovin. But McLovin, I did mention that I was a double Tar Heel from Carolina, so that's law school and MBA. So the life of a public defender in rural Alabama really didn't suit me at the time. So thank you very much. But Dan, I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing. And the rest of it, I wanted to call in earlier, but the rest of this week was a little too serious and didn't find the right time. But absolutely thumbs up to the callers for this day in lighting McLovin up. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you, Gibbs. Jimmy in Chicago. Hi, Jimmy. What do you have for me?
What's up, Dan? Glad to be back.
Sure.
My new job has been kind of messing up my morning schedule, but I wanted to, if you guys could, I know you're pressing time, but if you guys could do a best movie draft, I've been wanting to ask you guys to do that for a while. Like a lightning, maybe first round. That would absolutely make my day. Take care.
All right. We might get around to that, Jimmy. We've done our best to try to still stay with sports because there have been a lot of topics here that we haven't strayed too far. Sometimes we get goofy, but then, you come to expect that. Robbie in Mississippi. Hey, Robbie, what's on your mind today?
Hey, Dan. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I am a civil rights historian in Mississippi at Jackson State University, the alma mater of Paul's beloved Walter Payton. And I would add here, too, also Eddie Payton, the Lions, Detroit Lions player, who was our longtime golf coach. So if your guys need some lessons, you might send them down this way. But I wanted to respond to something you said kind of in passing with Paul Finebaum about Ole Miss in particular, and the fact that what most people don't understand and realize is that Ole Miss is actually a term that is derived from slavery, in which slave masters, their daughters were known as Little Miss and their wives were known as Ole Miss. And in the early 20th century, it became popular to refer to the University of Mississippi as Ole Miss. And I think that's something that the university is going to have to reckon with here in Mississippi as well, especially when we think about the context of young black athletes thinking about where they're going to go to college.
I agree. And Robbie, thank you for bringing that up, because Fritzy gave me some information on, I did not know what Ole Miss referred to. Like, this has been educational. If you choose to make it or allow it to be educational, just understanding. And it's been around so long that you just sort of take it for granted. I thought Ole Miss was just Mississippi, and it's just our Ole Miss. I did not know Ole Miss was the slave owner's wife's name. Jeff in Detroit. Hi, Jeff. What do you have for me today?
Hey, Dan. Happy Meat Friday. I just wanted to tell you and all the guys, happy Father's Day. I know how important it is to be a father, and all you guys seem to do a pretty good job at it. The callers today were fantastic. Great shows all week long, man. You rock, dude. Holla at you on Monday.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, happy Father's Day. Not sure what's in store this weekend for you, but I'm just taking inventory. I have 4 kids. I don't know who's going to be home, but I said to my wife, who's ever there, I'm sure that they'll say nice things about me. That's all that matters. Yes, McLovin.
Results of the poll: would you rather be left alone or do a big family activity on Father's Day? 56% be left alone.
Yeah.
Then the 44% are lying.
But my daughter's birthday is on Father's Day. That throws a little curve. Yeah, she was born on Father's Day. And so I got to celebrate that. So that supersedes Father's Day. So I got to make sure that she feels like she's, sort of like you want love to have witnessed that great white shark.
It's happening, by the way. A lot of people tweeting me, hey, I heard you saw a great white. I'm like, word.
If anybody ever sees McLovin, just ask about the great white shark, please.
People are actually asking for a T-shirt that says, I've seen a great white shark.
No, you could have McLovin, like on the beach pointing, and then just have a great white shark.
That's a great white.
Yeah. Hey, that's a great white shark right there.
All right, there's about a 75% chance it was like a tuna or just a squint of the sun.
Dolphin. Yeah.
I don't think I'm getting enough love for that story.
That's a great line. That's a great line for Friday.
Line? Like, I was being dead serious.
Oh, you were. Well, the back row had a good week this week, I think. Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
We didn't get pelted by water balloons.
Do you think the whole back row feels that way?
I don't know.
I think for the most part, it was a strong week.
Yeah, Paul.
I buried a lead, but before everyone got here this morning, Fritzy and I had a little personal chat.
We did.
Well, should we be discussing
No,
that?
it stays with Todd and I, but it was a lovely conversation.
Yeah, but you're like Pete Carroll saying somebody called me about Colin Kaepernick, and then you gave no details.
Tune in
about
Monday on the Dan Patrick.
Oh, all righty. What we learned brought to you by Raycon, their wireless earbuds. The way to go, get 15% off your Raycon order at buyraycon.com/Patrick. Buyraycon.com/Patrick. A lot of fun. Phone calls were great today. Thanks for the support. Chat row, awesome. Tyler and Mario, thank you. Have a great weekend.